Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if a villager, at the start, labeled Naruto as a hero instead of a demon. Part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. La la, little kid can touch the sky, little hands can stroke the stars. La yeah, the little angel can fly without leaving his mama's arms. On a rooftop, just before sunset, a mother was singing to her baby. He was still newborn, being less than 2 days old. This very youth would be his end. Just hours ago, a giant beast was sighted north of their hidden village. It seems they were not hidden from that demon's eye. It being tall enough to look at them from above the tallest trees might explain why. The giant fox was raging and destroying anything and everything in its path. Had it not been that sudden an attack, they would have simply evacuated the village, hide, wait for it to go away and rebuild their home. That was not to be. The savage beast was not only set on destroying landscape but was hunting without recrimination, even if the prey was so small that it could not flee before being crushed beneath its paws. The totality of the village's ninjas went to fight it. It was not going down easy. It was way out of their league. The yondaime may have found a solution, but a cruel one. It had to be sealed in a living being. A newborn child. Her child, the fragile link to life of a youngster, and the still developing chakra system allow a little twinkle with the soul to make it hold, with the help of a seal, the very spirit of the Bija. She knew she had the last baby born in Konoha. Tut. She knew she only had moments before an Umbu would come, take her baby away and leave her alone. Even from where she stood, she could see the little flies that were ninjas around the fox. She could hear its outraged growling when a lucky strike scratched its skin. Then she saw him. It must be the yondaime himself. Only Jiraiya and the current Hokage could summon the frog boss, Gamabunta. A soft blue light was shining on the top of the toad's head. The Kyuubi seemed truly interested for once. The frog boss jumped ahead with his blade drawn and tried to stab the monster before him. He was stopped by the tails of the fox, and one even wounded its head. The fox was about to sink its teeth in the toad's throat when the light, that never stopped, grew brighter. She saw a flash that engulfed the surprised beast. The frog boss the whole battlefield. Then it was gone, leaving the beast's body behind. The frog boss had disappeared in a way that suggests that the summoner was unable to keep it in this plane. Usually it meant death. No more blue light, no more fighting. Only a huge unmoving body covered in flaming orange fur. The beast seemed to have been beaten, but how? Her baby, opening his eyes distinct to his clan, was still in her arms. Why? Why had they not come to take her little Sasuke? The Sandaime Hokage was an old man and he knew it. That was the reason he passed the title on to his student's student. Minato was smart, strong and respected. He had the drive to protect the village and to make it evolve with its time. He even asked for training session with him, saying he would be old only when he would stop learning. Of course, an ex-Kage named the professor was the best you could hope for as a teacher. Now Minato was gone, leaving the title in his hands again. Why did he have to live so long if it was to bury all the young hopes? He had in his arms one of those very hopes. Will you die on me too, Uzumaki Naruto? Will you disappear someday, leaving the village with one less great soul? Sarutobi asked the young toddler. He knew that just any baby could not contain the soul of the Bija. Only one blessed with a strong bloodline could. The question was, whose was it? The yondaime came at the last minutes with this child in place of the newborn Uchiha. He seemed to hold it protectively. Now that he had a chance to look closer, he saw the striking likeliness, his own son. But who was the mother? What was the bloodline? The only one to know gave himself in the death's god hands. The third Hokage entered the crowded room filled with the heads of clans, families and the council members. Now was the time to decide of the future of this unknowing hero. He took his place in front of the crowd and they silenced immediately, waiting for the wise man to speak. My children, let me present you, he said in a soft voice that could be heard anywhere in the hall, the new village's hero. The newborn son of a great line that took the burden of hosting the fox spirit. Seeing a few frown in the eerily silent crowd, he continued. Through a forbidden jutsu, the yondaime ripped the soul of the Kyuubi from its original body and imprisoned it in this child. This toddler's soul, aided with a master seal, will keep away the evil that almost destroyed our village. It was the moment of truth. The one that would define how the boy would be accepted by everyone he would live with. His name was Yutato. He was no ninja and was barely the head of a family of 10. He had a talent to make explosive notes that kept his family away from poverty. He was not that bright and far from strong. He wasn't respected or counted on for anything. Still, he had something special. He was the quickest in the village to make up his mind, and he was a loud mouth. Combine that with the anonymity that gives you a massive crowd and you've got the one who makes the real decisions in the village's meetings. When he heard the Sandaime say that the soul of the monster was in the boy, he almost called it a demon, but he hesitated. Even he don't know why. Then the Hokage explained about the seal and the baby being, in fact, the jailer of that scary beast. Now that changed everything. He's a hero. The demon is dead thanks to him. He yelled. The crowd, seeing the logic, began to murmur in agreement. Then it exploded its joy. having the confirmation from the Hokage himself that they were now safe, thanks to the savior in his arms. The sheep followed the herd right there and then. It was a funny thing, how fate can be so easily changed. Now how would he do it? The Kyuubi should have been sealed in his son, Uchiha Sasuke. Such power to be raised at the beck and call of the clan, he would have raised him as any true Uchiha, like his own son, to be the strongest ninja Konoha had ever seen. Now the title of strongest would go to another clan. Oh, but not if he could help it. The Yondaime was a son of war, found on a battlefield, weeping at the loss of both his parents. He was 3 years old then. The baby, Minato's son, had no clan to belong to. Seeing the boy accepted, the Hokage let his heritage being known. But with the mother unknown, that left him with one last option, adoption. He would look like a benevolent villager kind enough to take him in his clan. He walked in the Hokage's office, having an appointment on that matter. Fugaku Uchiha wasn't surprised to see Uchiha-Hyuga in the room, but it still didn't please him one bit. He wanted the brat too. How surprising. Sarutobi let a cloud of smoke leave his lips, relaxing himself before the political battle for the ownership of Uzumaki Naruto began. He wasn't blind of their true motivations, but even then, growing up in a clan would be better than in an orphanage. That was the only reason he let it happen. Hopefully, he was the Hokage. He could set his rules. Those were the moments he liked his power over the villagers' heads the most. Well then, let's begin. We all know why we are here and that none of you two have any priorities over the baby. You will both explain to me, without saying a word about the other clan, why I should let Naruto-kun in your care. Both of them wanted Naruto. None of them were stupid enough to piss off a Hokage. He ruled, period. The Uchiha gave a nod to his rival, giving him the first word. He would have the last. Thank you, said Hayashi, nodding back. First off, I would like to specify that we have many children around his age that he would be able to grow up with. We are one of the most prestigious clans of Konoha and we train, at a young age, children to become ninja even before their time at the academy. He would have a huge advantage over others. Hayashi crossed his arms, his points clearly proved. Well, our clan hosts the police force of the village and would keep Naruto safe, began the Uchiha head in turn. We also have our style of training and fighting, that is if he decides to become a ninja. Hayashi seemed startled that anything else could be considered. Fugaku made his point, smiling. He would not force the kid to do anything. Anyway, his destiny was to fight. On top of that, my wife, who, by the way, is forever grateful for the burden that have been lifted from her son's shoulder, would be honored to take care of him in this vulnerable period of life. She's already feeding one child. Sarutobi sat back in his chair, dragging a very long puff of smoke. He blew the smoke, his eyes closed, before opening them again. I have come to a decision. Both of your clans shall adopt the boy, he said with finality. The clan's head didn't saw that one coming. What? How? They asked. Fairly easy. As suggested, the mother shall be an Uchiha. I know Mikoto will take good care of him. She's a good woman. The father shall be a Hyuga. No romance intended. Naruto will live with his mother, but he'll have the right to see his father anytime he pleases. When Naruto will be old enough to ask, he will be granted any wish to see his mother or father that will be reasonable. Be careful to what either of you tell or teach the boy, because I will be watching over him very closely. I'm doing all of this to prevent clan rivalry and to give Naruto a happy home. If he is ever sad about this or if you pressure him in any way to choose between clans, he will be taken from your custody. And then, punishment will be administered. I love that little blonde like my own grandchild already. Do not disappoint me. The Hyuga and Uchiha bowed before leaving the office. So who in your family is going to be the father? Asked Fugaku curiously to Hayashi. My brother, head of the branch family, he answered. A slave already, If you ever try to put a curse seal on him, there will be blood shed, stated the Uchiha. Of course. If you ever try a ceremony of blood kinship on your side, to try and give him your Sharingan, and take him further from us, expect retaliation the same. Fugaku smiled at that. He had actually considered it. Agreed. After all, he will have a mother Uchiha and a father Hyuga. Nonetheless, he will stay in Uzumaki. It shall be very interesting. Indeed, in the Uchiha household, things went a lot less smooth. What? Fugaku Uchiha asked his wife, not believing her words. I will not take that demon brat in my home, let's feed it. She repeated, how can you even say that? He is the hero of this village. He is inhabited by the spirit of the beast that killed so many of us. The body hasn't even finished decaying and it's bringing all kind of monsters around. They even say that strange trees are growing where it has fallen. This is an aberration, an abnormality. Stupid woman! Yelled Fugaku, looking very angry. Mikoto Uchiha took a step back. Rarely did her husband yell at her. She knew of his commanding spirit but never did he use force against her before. Don't you realize that the demon is a prisoner now? That this kid is keeping it caged? Do you get in your head that thanks to him, Sasuke won't have to deal with this? Don't you see he is but just another victim? Asked the leader of Konoha's police force. Mikoto was far from stupid. Her husband had his reasons to want Naruto in their clan. That didn't mean his arguments were invalid. So this is the honor of my wife? He kept on. She would let a harmless baby fare for itself? Why not put you to the test then? Fugaku opened the front door and made a sign. An umbu came, carrying a small parcel. He took it with great care, walked toward his confused wife and pushed it in her arms. When she looked down, she saw the newborn hero. His little hands were closed firmly, as if grabbing the dream he was in, never letting go. The mother took him properly in her arms, resting him against her chest. It was too late for her now. Her motherly side took over. Damn you, husband, damn you. That was a cheap shot, she whispered. Will you take care of him? Of course I will, she answered, cradling the young boy protectively. Do you even regret it? No, I don't. Damn you. Honor. Justice. Family. Strength. Respect. Those were the calligraphies painted on stylized banners around the otherwise very sober Hyuga dojo. You could have heard a fly, if it was not of the labored breath emitted by a young girl. Hinata Hyuga was practicing stances, attack and defense patterns that were the bases of the gentle fist. The opponent before her pushed her way further what she was able to handle. It had the merit to distract her from being watched by her cousin, Niji-san, and Naruto-kun, her best friend. The two heads of families were there too. Niji had an air of almost adoration, while Hizashi looked politely interested. Naruto looked far more relaxed but was watching with rapt interest, like his stepbrother. He asked to visit his father's clan and his wish was at once granted. He never pondered why. He had loving parents. Life was always so interesting with his brothers Sasuke and Itachi. He could play all he wanted, he had lots of friends and he started the ninja academy to get as strong as Itachi and Ai-chan. Sasuke and he always argued about who would beat him first. It often led to senseless brawls that inevitably ended up with both of them on the ground, covered with dirt and laughing. Now, he had a chance to see how the Hyugas fought. Niji could beat him anytime, having already mastered the bases in his style and being a year older than him. Maybe he should ask his father to learn it as well. He turned toward his father to ask that very question, but what he saw stopped him brutally. He had such a hating stare toward Hinata that the veins around his eyes bulged out in a Byakugan form. What was the meaning of this? Suddenly, Hayashi turned around, mumbling something about hostile intent, and fixed a glare at his brother's face. It all happened in an instant. He could not remember getting to his father howling on the ground in pain with Niji-kun. Still, he would forever remember his uncle over them in a dominating pose while his father was clutching his forehead in a futile attempt to ease the pain. "Ota-san!" yelled Niji, helpless. Naruto wasn't raised with the Hyugas. Therefore, he didn't know or care about the acceptance around the chain of command between the branch and the main family. His father hurt, and that was all that mattered, whoever was responsible. He raised his head toward Hayashi, making him take a step back and unknowingly stop the mental abuse. There was no demon, no unnatural animosity. No chakra was emitted either. What stopped him was the simple look of pure hatred in the face of a 6-year-old that adored him just a moment ago. The simple look of powerlessness and incomprehension mixed in an almost teary strained face was too much for his usually masked heart. He composed himself, his mind working miles a minute. Was that how branch family members felt about the main family? Did they even see themselves as part of the clan? Or are they looking up at them like slaves? He walked toward his still panting brother and helped him up. No. I'm okay. It was my fault. It won't happen again, Hizashi said, avoiding the touch as if he wasn't deserving the help. Kami-sama, what have we done? Whispered Hayashi. His brother looked up, surprised. Come to my office, brother. We have much to discuss, ordered the clan head. Hizashi, in the privacy of his brother's office, explained the frustration for his son to never have the chance to raise his status within the family. Hayashi told him his realization about the inhumanity of the seal and the resulting social disorder in the clan. They talked a very long time. Naruto, Niji and Hinata stayed in the garden, sitting on rocks. They were facing the doors leading to Hayashi's office. They had yet to see the twin brothers come out. What did your father do to mine, Hinata? What did he do to deserve that anyway? Asked Niji, suddenly angry. I don't know, Niji-san. It's that thing like the one you have on your forehead, Hinata tried to explain, herself very confused. You mean that you could do that to me? He yelled, getting off of his rock. I would not. Never. Hinata begun panicked. But you could, insisted Niji, taking a step forward. Stop that, Niji-kun, you're acting like an idiot, snarled Naruto angrily. What? Nobody just tells a Hyuga he's an idiot, but there's always a first. I said you're acting stupid. Look. You're making Hinata-chan cry, said Naruto, pointing the young Hyuga girl, and he was right. Tears were flowing freely for her face and she had her hand closed, near to her mouth in a defensive posture. It doesn't matter that she could do it if she never want to. It's like giving me a kunai and accusing me that I will stab you with it because I can. I know, but said Niji, looking away, shameful. But what? You'll bully her before she can do it to you, pressed Naruto. No, then what? I remember you saying during practice how you admire Hinata-chan and how you would always protect her. It's true. Really? Asked the young girl, managing to talk trough the tears. Hinata looked at her cousin now with those big Bambi's eyes. You know them, those big, rounds and shiny ones that are so cute nobody can stare at them for too long? It worked well on Niji. Stop looking at me like that. It's embarrassing, he said, looking redder than ever. So it's true? She pressed on. Niji was probably counting the sand grains before his feet from the position of his head. He lightly nodded nonetheless. Then nothing changed, stated a proud Naruto. That was something stupid to invent. That stupid drawing on your head, he said, snorting. It was the best solution at the time. The three of them looked up to see Hayashi, and his brother just over them. Since when were they listening? But you are right, kept on Hayashi. Its utility became a nuisance. It doesn't help if by protecting the clan from outside spying, we destroy the clan from the inside. The main and branch family will stay, but that stupid drawing, the curse seal, shall be removed. Only a more discreet tattoo will indicate a branch member, and the main family member that he is affiliated with. That is thanks to you, Naruto. To me? The young blonde asked. Truth came from innocence. The righteous anger you showed opened my eyes, nodded Hayashi gravely. Naruto shuffled his feet in the sand as he remembered how angry he was. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to. It's okay, and thank you. Is there anything that you would like? Well, Sasuke and Naruto, age 7, were running back from the academy. Instead of going straight home, they entered a forest patch north of the Uchiha sector. They knew what they would find there. They slowed down and used all the stealth their blooming skills allowed them to. At a particular location, they stopped. The targets changed places every day, if they could only find one there. Funny! They had the target just over their heads and they didn't notice. Right there just over their heads to their credits, they only ducked their heads a bit and clamped their hands on their mouths when 3 kunais embedded themselves in the round wooden circle, less than a meter away. Sasuke got his bearing back first and pointed where the knives were from. Naruto nodded and they proceeded to crawl around the bush they were hidden behind until a hand grabbed each of them from the back of their pants and lifted them in the air. Itachi Naruto took his breath back. That's not fair. Itachi chuckled and let him drop on his hand and knees. And you're still as Winnie. Let me go too, demanded Sasuke, arm crossed. And why should I? Because if you don't, you can't resume your training, answered Sasuke smartly with a face that say ha. Gotcha there, is that so? Itachi put his little brother on his shoulder and started to jump from tree to tree, going slow enough for Naruto to barely follow them from below, stopping now and then to throw kunais at targets and dummies. Night-chan! Let me go! Yelled Sasuke, flaying his arms and legs. You really want me to drop you? Taunted Itachi. They were high up now. Really high. No! Put me down! Don't drop me! Well, you should make up your mind now, don't you? And it's your fault that you crawled on me while training. Naruto was panting and yelling. Sasuke was beating the back of his brother with his little fists, laying across the shoulder of Itachi. They were having so much fun. What am I ever going to do with you two? You can't even beat me 2-on-1, teased Itachi. Even meters across from each other's, the answer of the two was in perfect synchronism. We'll beat you, just you wait. Itachi was not surprised by their words, but by the mirror look of determination they held. It's not fair, Naruto. You beat me because you used the gentle fist. I would have won if you used the Uchiha style, pouted Sasuke, walking back from the academy with his brother. Which is why I used the gentle fist, said Naruto, proud of himself. At least you beat Niji at the Hyuga mansion last time with the Uchiha style. The face of your father was priceless, said Sasuke happily. Yeah, I got him by surprise this time. When he's gonna activate his Byakugan, though it won't work anymore. And father told me those sparring matches were to evaluate my progression with the gentle fist, grunted Naruto. Huh. Hey, that ceremony the Hyuga are going through, it's after next week, isn't it? Yeah. They are making peace with another hidden village. It's Hidden Cloud, I think. More allies. I wish I could go, Sasuke said sadly. Hyuga only, mocked Naruto. Then you won't go either, you're an Uzumaki. Not funny. My father is. They both stopped, entering the Uchiha complex. The sun was setting, but they could not mistake the patch of red coming out of some doors for the dying sun's ray. Where is everybody? Mumbled Sasuke. Naruto made a first heavy step, being rooted on the spot a moment ago. Sasuke imitated him, and they were soon running, doors to doors, calling names. No one was there. Some houses had traces of a struggle. They finally walked on the body of their grandparents. They knelt. They wept. Until Sasuke uttered one word, Okasan. They ran again. Even if their little chests got tight from fear and made it difficult to breathe. Okasan? Okasan! They were not in the entrance, nor in the kitchen. But they found hell in the living room. Uchiha-Fugaku was laying face down on the floor, a pool of blood growing around him. Their mother was still standing, but she slid down the katana that had pierced her and fell too. Kasa-saiyan! It was impossible. It was a nightmare. Wake up, Naruto, wake up, damn it! But no matter how many times it repeated in his head, his eyes showed him the death of everyone. Only Sasuke was still alive before him, crying on the body of their mother, and the man who killed her. The man who killed everyone. Who are you? He finally asked. The man walked in the light, showing Sharingan eyes with 3 dots. Itachi and Ai-chan? That tiny croaking came from Sasuke's throat. You did all this? Yes. I needed to know something. Itachi said, walking forward. To know what? Asked the trembling Naruto. How strong I am. They felt ice-cold blood in their vein, freezing them deep inside. Down to the very core that make them human. They lost it. Sasuke jumped on his feet and Naruto dashed at his side. They drew what weapons they had, practice kunais. Practice or not, they were still deadly. But then they stopped, paralyzed. Not by fear or surprise, they were simply unable to move. Then they looked around. The sun was not set yet. They were in the compound streets. Itachi was before them, a blade in his hand. In front of him were their still alive mother and Sasuke's father. This is the Manjikyu Sharingan, said Itachi, as if giving a simple shinobi lesson. It is the ultimate dojutsu. Nothing can break it. I will prove it to you by showing you again and again the death of the clan, for the next 12 hours. Just one word before I start. Do you really, really hate me? Grow stronger. Let hatred make you strong, then come back to face me. But for now, and the carnage began anew. The two boys woke up a few days later. They both felt terrible. First, they were thirsty as if they hadn't drank in days, which was the case. Their beds were next to each other. They had woken up almost at the same time. After a drink from room-temperature water left in a pitcher, they began a wall-staring contest. Why were they here? What happened? None of them dared to ask because deep down, they knew. They felt that if they asked, reality would come crashing on them and crush them in pieces. Reality have a cruel way to get back at you sometime, even in the form of a whisper. Two nurses passed by their room, talking quietly. Those two. Everybody else is dead, and no pretty death. They had just enough time to feel it and realize. By the look of the wounds, he let everyone live a few seconds before. They could not escape it anymore. Naruto was sitting in his bed, shaking and tears flowing. His face, however, without the tears, would have looked totally emotionless. As Sasuke was sobbing loudly in his pillow, his mind just froze, letting his body act on his own. They spent hours like that. Then they fell asleep. They woke up and fell asleep like that for some time, not counting the days. One night, Naruto woke up to see Sasuke at the window. He walked up to him and looked outside. There was a big party at the Hyuga compound. They could hear the music and see the fireworks, the ceremony. It has been exactly 9 days since it happened, deadpan Naruto. Yeah, simply answered Sasuke. I'm leaving this place tomorrow. I'm tired of these walls. Me too. Without another word, they got back to bed. The day after, they woke up early but could not leave as fast as they wanted. Now the nurses were fussing at them. They passed a physical exam and were deemed healthy enough. When one of them asked them where they would go, they got a simple reply from both of them. Home. They walked, hands in their pockets, down the main street of Konoha. At a turn, Naruto stopped. If he continued, he would end up at the Uchiha sector. If he turned left, he would go to the Hyuga mansion. He felt like a traitor. He chose the coward way out. Sasuke didn't even turn back. At the Hyuga mansion, he noticed something was wrong. For the day after such a celebration, the mood was too dark. He went directly to his father's home and found the door open. He walked to it but didn't enter. From where he was, he could clearly see Neji in his mother's arms, crying. No. Not that. Please anything but that, he said, his mind picturing the worst, and being right. Neji heard Naruto quiet plea and tried to talk, still crying. Naruto, father, they took him and I don't understand why, father, why it has to be him. Naruto, it's those cloud neens, Naruto. Where are you going? But he had already turned around. Not saying a word, hands in his pockets, he got out of the Hyuga sector. He didn't have any more tears to shed. He just felt so empty. So very empty. He left his feet walk on their own. Why didn't he stay? Why didn't he join Neji to get comfort, and just cry together with him in Neji's mother's arms? That was the answer. It was Neji's mother. Not his. His mother died 10 days ago. Now he lost his father. He wasn't a Hyuga. He never really lived there. His true link to that place was his father, and now he was gone. Neji was more of a close cousin than a brother. There was only one person that he could consider as such today. His feet knew already what his brain just told him. He was standing in front of the home he had for the last 7, almost 8 years. He walked in without knocking. I'm home. Noise upstairs betrayed where Sasuke was. He looked at Naruto from the top of the stairs. He didn't seem to know what to do. Naruto just stood there. Welcome home. Sasuke put water to boil. They didn't have the courage to do anything more complicated than instant noodle to eat. He then sat at the table where Naruto put 2 bowls. So why coming back? Asked Sasuke tentatively. My father is dead, answered Naruto in a drone voice. You don't need to tell me, said Sasuke harshly. I was there. No, not your father. My father. Sasuke's eyes widened in realization. How? I don't know exactly. It have something to do with the ceremony, I think, and the Cloud Ninja. Then, I'm an orphan. Just like you. All I have left is you, Aniki. I'm only 2 days older, Naruto. But the Hyuga? They are not my family. I realize that. They will probably try to get me there. But it is you now, my family. They won't get me away. I'm staying. All right, Aniki? Said Sasuke with a sad smirk. Naruto smiled back. The kettle started whistling. 1 year later, Sasuke launched an attack, Naruto parried. Naruto launched a counterattack, Sasuke evaded it. Each day, they forced themselves to learn, invent and practice new moves. They saw how fast sparring became pointless when you always do the same things over and over again. They both studied the Uchiha style with the help of family scrolls. Naruto, knowing he would never have the Sharingan, asked for a few lessons from the Hyuga clan and a few scrolls to help him train. He was trying to pull off an Uchiha-Hyuga hybrid style. It was slowly getting some coherence, but it was still a far cry from being ready to use in real combat. As the kick he received proved, Sasuke stopped his assault to find his breath. Why are you still trying that, Aniki? Those two styles are too different, said Sasuke, resuming an earlier discussion. It can work, argued Naruto. Your style is awesome for its speed, but the problem with the moves is that they are keyed with the Sharingan. Then why am I able to beat you without one? Because you are only studying the Uchiha style. I have to work with the gentle fist defense and stances. It is great in speed too, when it is enhanced with Chakra, but the problem is the attack, and you cannot control Chakra yet. Exactly. While I can land many attack on you, they lack power because I don't have the Byakugan and Chakra touch. I am still trying to figure that one out since they told me they cannot teach it to someone outside the Hyuga clan. They are still trying to get you in, frowned Sasuke. Yep, acknowledged Naruto, getting up. They should have learned better after the last time. That kidnapping attempt. It was still fun to see you and the old man Hokage storm the compound. There's a good reason why he's the boss. Ha! Yeah. Good intention didn't save Hayashi to have his ass kicked. They both laugh at the sweet memory. He deserved it, after what he allowed to happen to my father, said Naruto, quieting down. Yeah. But we can't forget it's mainly the Cloud Nin's faults, said Sasuke, his expression hardening. And forget I won't, believe me. We may have a long way to go, but those will pay. Talking about a way to go, isn't it time to get to the academy? Oh shit! Getting out of the Uchiha compound, they put their emotional masks on. Sasuke was the brooding one. Silent, one-word sentence kinda guy. Naruto told him a few times that people might think he have got a stick stuck somewhere real dark. Usually, Sasuke replied with a finger. One clue, it's not the thumb. Naruto went with the perpetual half-smile. He wasn't talkative nor was he silent. He seemed to always see something the other couldn't while being completely indifferent to everything else. They pretty much had to be that way or the girls would never stop. Why does a tragic, mysterious past attract them so much? After all, who cares? They were only girls. The lesson of the day was about the history of great Jonins. When, at the lunch break, Iruka showed a trick to help with chakra manipulation, using only a leaf, Naruto snorted when he saw Choji, Kiba and Shikamaru leave by the window. Sasuke turned toward Naruto, a rare smile passing the barrier of his mouth. Well, we know what we will be trying new now, he said. We sure do. But I'll take this moment where the class is half empty, except for those gossiping girls, to ask a few tips in taijutsu from Iruka. Naruto walked to him, looking at the resigned face of the brave teacher. What is it, Naruto? You want to join them? Feel free to go, the window's open already. Thanks for the offer, but I'll pass. Instead, I have a technical problem to talk about. Without going in too much details, Naruto told him about his attack's problem. Iruka took a pensive pose. What you need is more speed and a heavier punch to compensate the lack of chakra-induced speed and the light hit of the Hyuga style. I know just the guy to see. Iruka laughed at his own joke. Naruto blinked his eyes twice. Well, there is that Jonin Mito guy, who took a pupil this year. He is on a mission right now, but his student is found at the training area number 3 after academy hours. Thank you, sensei. Naruto got back to his seat and relayed the information to Sasuke. Good, said Sasuke. You go check that out, but don't be too long. It's our ramen day of the week. Training or ramen? I didn't know you were so cruel, Aniki. 161. 162. 163. 100. Naruto and Sasuke took great care in keeping their training a secret. They never even showed their progress at the academy. That guy, except for choosing a remote location, didn't do much to be overlooked. When he finally saw him, Naruto understood why. That boy looked too unique to even hope to disappear in a crowd. You never find that bright of a green tone in a natural forest either. Hi, over there, greeted Naruto. Hi, 169, muttered the strangely clad boy. Can't you take a slight break? I want to talk to you about. I have no time to stop. Your training. At that, the boy, who was doing one-handed push-up, gave himself a flip and landed on his feet. Yosh! Another one burning with the flame of youth to seek strength given by hard work. At that point, he had teary eyes, as if he had found a long-lost brother. Naruto didn't want to imagine himself with a bowl cut. Brrrr, too late, he muttered, shaking a chill. What did you say? Asked the boy, confused. Nothing, but yes, I am trying to burn myself in heavy training, and you seem to be so into it. By the marks on the training logs around us, you have something going on to give you that strength and stamina. Sorry, but my training methods can only be discussed with Gai-sensei. I understand. If I don't bother you, can I watch? I'll be quiet. I might even come back to train with you if you'd like. By the way, I'm Uzumaki Naruto. And I'm Rock Lee. You're serious? You'd come to train with me? Sure. Why not? Lee almost sent himself in another monologue about youth but simply couldn't. Whatever, if it was because of his look, or the fact he could not mold chakra, or because he was an orphan, he didn't have many friends. I'd like that. But sorry, no training secrets. That's alright. If I can't guess by myself, I'll ask Guy-sensei. Lee smirked at that. Feel free to look then. He began to do sit-up. Since he wasn't going anywhere anytime soon, Naruto placed himself to hold his feet. Sai Ramen would have to wait. A month passed in a blur. Many things happened and the unofficial Uchiha brothers saw their skills boost jump. After seeing Lee get faster, only to come back to his previous speed, but damaging the trees and dummies much more, Naruto understood the concept of weight training. Sasuke agreed that it would be good to start on it too, but with weights more dispersed than just the legs, and lighter. They tied some at their arms and legs. They disguised them as bracelets. They wore training vests in permanence too. When they saw how their speed progressed when they took them off, they joined Lee 3 times a week in the area number 3 for heavy physical training. They never used chakra in those sessions. Lee was the specialist in physical and taijutsu training amongst all the rookies. They respected that. Using pure brute force only made them grow that much. Still, their greatest progress was in chakra manipulation. Sasuke knew one complex jutsu, the Gokaku no Jutsu or the Great Fireball. By practicing that technique, he had an advantage over Naruto, who was still struggling over the Bushin. That changed with the leaves exercise. They passed hours, one in front of the other, just trying, at first, to make a small green leaf move up and down their nose. It was like using a new muscle. It gained strength and flexibility with uses. It took a while to pick it up for Naruto, but once he got the hang of it, he liked it a lot. After pushing it up and down their nose, they tried to make it rotate. That was tricky. But then it was getting easier to move it along the side of their arms and legs, but it always got stuck at the base of their feet. They wondered why. There were paths along their body where it was easier to make it follow, and after comparison, it was pretty much the same for both of them. Then, a revelation happened. After putting too much chakra on the leaf, it bounced off Naruto's forehead, like it sometimes happened. It landed on Sasuke's nose. That got Naruto laughing and pointing at Sasuke's face. Yeah, he was pretty exhausted. But then Sasuke, as a revenge, pushed enough chakra to propel the leaf back at Naruto, on purpose, then began a match of chakra leaves throwing. It became part of the training. After a month, they were sitting on the ground, feet touching, sending multiples leaves to each other's without moving a limb. They had to catch the 4 leaves continuously sent airborne by gluing it on their skin with chakra, moving it somewhere else and sending it back. While they did that, 2 leaves raced up and down their connected legs. After a while, they tried to talk in the same time. Then they hold a conversation without missing a beat. They were at the point they could reach out for the leaves when they were still in the air and change their courses. Sasuke, I've got an idea for my taijutsu style. Nice. Sasuke, yeah, I will have to kill those cloud ninjas to avenge father. You will help me, any? Yeah. 2 pairs of heavily armored, soft green sandals walked down an alley in Konoha. We will have to get a lot stronger and prepare a trip so nobody suspect us. It will be good training, any? Yeah. In those sandals were 2 young men. One with black baggy shorts with the Uchiha crest on the side, the other had his baggy shorts white with the same symbol on the opposite side. And then we'll get even stronger. Because we didn't voiced it before, but the 2 of them had a tool pouch and kunais hanging from their twin belts in an X-crossing shape. We have to kill Itachi. That's why we get stronger, any? Yeah. The one with the black shorts had a blue plain shirt. The one with the white short had an orange shirt with a huge black spiral on the chest and a brown leather jacket opened over it. He was a genius. He was Jonin at the age of 12, and Umbu at the age of 14. He was way stronger than what we are now. Yeah. One had a light scowl on his face. The other, a perpetual half-smile. But we can get stronger, and you're bright too. So together, we have a chance. A chance to beat him. A chance to kill him. Yeah, we do. The 2 of them supported sunglasses on the top of their heads. They could see the Ninja Academy at the far end of the street. Then let's do it. Let's kill the ones who killed everyone we had precious. Then we'll see what kind of life lie after that. Yeah, let's kill them, and send them all to hell. Konoha, 3 years later, the Genin exams day. The 2 boys stopped a few hundreds feet away from the main entrance. We are followed, stated Naruto. I know, answered Sasuke. 12 years old Sasuke and Naruto were going, on this day, to become Genins of Konoha. Why today? Asked Sasuke, looking up. I don't know why Kami hate us that much, acknowledged Naruto. You think they surrounded us yet? I don't want to be trampled again. Stop whining and think. Do they know we spotted them? We stopped walking at a good distance of the academy on the exam day. It is, I think, a dead giveaway. So, well, escape route number 6. Why not? Sighed damn fangirls. Sasuke and Naruto picked on each other's brain on the remaining travel to the academy, even on escape route number 6. To those among you, ignorant, who don't know yet what is escape route number 6, let me explain. Sigh. Those who bothered to read the ninja's manual of stealth against fangirls know that after a while, conventional roads are all under watch, same for the rooftops, and, for the more persistent, the sewers. At this point, you have to get creative. The escape route number 6 is through a building. For the brothers, knowing the surrounding of the academy is to know who lives there too. They were currently crossing a living room, with henges of stray cats on, talking quietly. The woman staying there was half senile already, so having her tell someone about a couple of talking stray cats in her house, let's just assume the nurse will suggest the radio was playing. They are almost as challenging as the umbu, nay? Naruto said, which is quite insulting to the umbu. Go tell one he's as skilled as a fangirl, answered Sasuke. Ever wanted to see a cat rolling on the ground laughing? Look just over there, good one. I'll try and send a henge bushin do that. You and your pranks one of these days, someone is going to figure out who does them. Funny how nobody's suspecting the one with the fox inside. A fox of all things, damn it, don't you dare blame the fox on this one. Yeah, why don't you choose a girl yet so that the other give up? Asked the blonde slyly. Why don't you? Countered Sasuke. Sasuke and Naruto answered to that in perfect harmony. No time, let's keep the cat coat a little longer. But shut up for once, said Sasuke. Hi Aniki. Two kitten jumped out the window and raced to the academy. They got back to normal once on the roof. From there it was not a problem to get to class. The girls were still looking for them outside. They sat near a window, just so that their stalkers were not too late for class, waiting for them in the street. They didn't have to wait long for them to run in the building, but at least the fangirls kept themselves in check a bit more in the classroom. So mumbled Sasuke, what will happen to the lucky girl today? I've got a real treat for her. Quietly whispered Naruto. If they haven't understood yet, they never will. Remember the time with the hedgehog and the pincushion? Yeah, well that's even better. Now you got me interested. Each day, the fangirls fought for the seat. Each day, something happened to the winner. If she's lucky, all the screws from her chair and desk will have been removed, resulting in a classic but spectacular fall. They always put it on the back of some nameless jealous fangirls. After all, Naruto always helped them get up. They never realized it was on these days their kunai pouch went missing and was found back on the neighbor guard dog's pet house. If they were unlucky, let's just not go there. Today, it was a cute petite girl with long wavy brown hair. Even if Naruto was not interested in a romance right now and living alone with another guy, he was not gay. That girl was true eye candy. He almost regretted what was about to happen. Almost, but still he thanked mentally all those exercises they went through that results in a profusion of hot females' bodies. No wonder why kunoichi was so deadly. The girl tentatively sat up and did not fall on the floor. She opened the desk and no unwanted flora or animals jumped at her. She let out a breath she wasn't sure when she started holding. Maybe it was her lucky day. She turned toward Naruto to find out she wasn't in the right seat. There were 4 rows in front of her. They didn't sit there usually, do they? She got up, almost ran at the right seat before some other girls got there first and turned to look at the 2 hottest rebels of Konoha. From his seat, Sasuke snorted. The girl didn't see that, her Sasuke looking out the windows, unmoving, except when the wind played in his spiky hair and while the sparkling ray of the sunlight shone in his eyes. Okay. Maybe Naruto went a little far with the genjutsu. What was unexpected was that another fangirl took the original place the first girl left, which was the good one. She, too, looked around, got up, and sat beside the first fangirl. Not understanding, all of them, except Sakura, who was frowning, and Hinata, who had her eyebrow almost in her hair, fell for the genjutsu taking effect on the chair beside Naruto. When Iruka got into class, almost all the girls were seated in a line at his desk, looking out the window. What the heck is happening here? That was enough to dispel the light genjutsu and send the young girls, blushing, to their places. They blamed Sakura, since she was the only one still at her place, with Hinata, but the Hyuga was too freaking shy to do anything of the like. Okay class. Today is the Genin's exam. You're all gonna pass a simple physical and then come back here for a ninjutsu test. Yes, it's the Bushin. Now hurry up. The soonest you go, the fastest you pass. Naruto, somebody's at the door for you. Who? Somebody you don't leave waiting, answered Iruka simply. Naruto got up to meet his visitor while the other students went to the first part of the test. The blonde turned the corner only to be faced by a white-gray yukata. He didn't even have to raise his head to recognize it. Hayashi-sama. What a surprise. Naruto-kun. Konnichiwa. How are you today? Asked the Hyuga clan's head. Me? Well, I am waiting to get to my physical in order to become Genin, so no stress. Anyway, I'll be at the back of the line by now. Yes. Sorry about that. You are starting to be a very hard little man to track, said Hayashi, grinning a little. Naruto hated to be called little. Yes, he was a little smaller than most other guys his age. But he liked to think he was broader. In which he was right, so the Genin exam. I remember mine very well. Fascinating, Hayashi-san. Now if you could kindly offer me to join your clan so I can refuse, I would like to go pointlessly wait in a line. Somehow, it looked like less of a waste of time to me. Naruto, I don't understand your anger toward me, said Hayashi with sad eyes. I hold you partly responsible for the death of my father. Didn't you realize that yet? The others I blame for this is my father himself to even propose his own sacrifice, and leaving 2 sons behind. The others are in that Cloud's Nin's clan. By the way, how are the relations with Lightning Country? Good, I hope? We are pretty much in open hostilities with them and you know it, answered Hayashi, finally showing irritation. This will teach you something about politics then. No good alliance will ever come out of human sacrifice. Naruto walked past him before his emotions get the best of him. Naruto, you will become a ninja today. You know that our clan have facilities to help training and a well-garnished library. You could have your own tutor. Many Hyugas became Anbu, you know. Naruto stopped at that. It was too much. Now it got personal. He mentally apologized to Sasuke. What he was about to do could leave nothing but trouble. They worked so hard to get their progress a secret. By the time he got back in front of Hayashi, he made up his mind. Sasuke is more important than anything I would want to prove to Hayashi, as tempting it is. I've got to rein it in. I can't tell, though. So now you resort to trying to buy me in, is that it, Hayashi-sama? Said Naruto in a low voice. No, it's not, I forgot. You already started. From the day you refused to teach the secret of the chakra disrupting touch of the gentle fist to how was it? Ha! Yes. Somebody out of the family. One whose name is not Hyuga. Naruto. So now what? You'll forbid me to walk freely in the Hyuga compound until I've got some cheap tattoo somewhere on me? Your brother miss you. Cheap shot. I don't fall for that. I saw Niji at the academy for a good while before he became a genin. Hinata's in my class and we even may end up in the same team. The only thing stopping her to talk to me is her house shyness. I don't know what to say, meaning that you got your last argument out? If this is it, I will go now. The line must have thinned out already. Naruto turned his back once again on the most powerful clan leader of Konoha. Just before turning a corner, he spoke low, just loud enough to be heard by an unmoving Hayashi. I wish you a good day, uncle. Sasuke watched as Naruto came to the exam room, being the last left waiting. So? He simply asked. The usual, Naruto answered, shrugging. What did you let out? Nothing. But it came close. He gave the Niji argument out. Cheap shot. Yeah, don't worry, Aniki. Anything else? Almost nothing, you know. Just the fighting style, a limitless access to their library and an Anbu tutor. Sasuke opened his eyes wide. Holy shit. Yeah. Sasuke checked around to be sure they were alone, and that no one was spying from afar. You know, right? I don't have to say it, right? Say what? Naruto had that false naive face Sasuke damned the most. He just felt he owed it to Naruto to turn down such an offer. You know that fluffy stuff. That I'm proud to be your brother, and that I'm happy you're there with me and stuff. Naruto smiled and punched Sasuke lightly on the arm. Yeah, I know, Aniki. 'Cause I feel the same. Still good to hear it once in a while, right? An embarrassed Sasuke nodded without looking at him. And some girls said it was easier to be a guy, right? The physical went well, even for the weight test. They had to keep their bracelets on for the mobility exam and target practice, so it looked like they were giving their all and take them off without them realizing before getting on the scale. They managed, somehow, to fool the 40-year-old genin that had the job to test them. Now that they think about it, it should have been harder. Then it was the moment of truth. Sasuke went in. Less than 30 seconds later he was out, a little smirk on his face. Your turn. Naruto walked in. Iruka let him take place in front of Mizuki and him. Okay, Naruto. Give us 3 bushins and you're outta here with this nice Konoha forehead protector, with an info commercial presentation voice. If I call in the next 20 seconds, can I have a second one free? Said Naruto with a falsely astonished face. Iruka laughed out loud while Naruto put the seals together. Bushin no Jutsu. 3 nice Bushin stood there imitating Naruto's every moves. He started a tap dance of victory, giving quite a show as the Bushins following his lead. Haha. I'm proud of you, Naruto. Ramen on me tonight. Thanks you, Iruka-sensei. I will take you on that offer, but not tonight. I've got something planned with Sasuke. Alright. Don't party too late. We give out team listing tomorrow. Don't worry, you've got nothing to fear. Usually, the strongest goes with the weakest to help balancing the teams, but you already have a good team player with you. Thank you, Iruka. That means a lot. Naruto, wait for me outside. I want a word with you alone, said his second teacher. No problem, Mizuki-sensei. Naruto waved Iruka goodbye and then got out to find Sasuke waiting. Show off. So what? Humph. Go and see what Mizuki want. It's not the only evaluation we've got today, you know. I know. It's going to be a busy evening. How much? He didn't even know yet. Naruto ran in the forest toward a cabin with a scroll tied on his back. To steal it from the Hokage office with genin techniques have been disturbingly easy. You have to know, Naruto, that creating 3 bushin is an excuse of a test for those who can't even do that, told him Mizuki after the exam. Really? Naruto said, taken aback. It was the first time he heard of this. Yes. The real test is now. If you manage to steal the scroll of forbidden jutsu in the Hokage office and get to the lost cabin in training area 8, you pass. So, Naruto cancelled the evaluation with Sasuke that they did, once a month, to check their progress and adjust their training accordingly. He watched the Chunin patrol led by a Jonin. He passed over the simple layer trap. He got in, took the scroll, and got out. Now that he got to the cabin, he only had to land and wait. He landed. He waited, but not very long. Iruka seemed to have catch up to him, following his trail. Shit. That would not go well. Where the heck was Mizuki? Iruka-sensei. What a surprise. What are you doing here, Naruto? What the hell do you think you're doing? Passing my exam, sensei. Huh, well, yeah. Mizuki-sensei told me to steal the scroll as a mission. That would make me truly pass my Genin exam. But really, is there enough forbidden scroll for every Genin of our class? The stupid question from a usually bright student should have tipped him off, but he got busy playing human shield over Naruto. Sensei, hopefully, the kunais were destined for Naruto's heart and head. The way Iruka moved, it got in his shoulder and leg. Funny how we discard such wounds when they hurt so freaking much. Well now, what have we here, said a voice from behind a tree. Mizuki-sensei. Why are you doing this? I got the scroll without Iruka's help. Plead Naruto. You don't get it, do you, demon brat, said Mizuki in a low voice. Naruto shot a quick look to Iruka, meaning shut the hell up. He turned toward Mizuki, once again with a confused face. What? What did I miss, stupid brat? Thinking I wanted the forbidden scroll to give you a nice Genin diploma? Wrong. I will kill you, kill the injured Iruka here and take the scroll to Master Orochimaru. How do you feel now, traitor who stole the scroll? He finished mockingly. Pretty good, thanks. Huh, that's the moment the Hokage chose to get out of the cabin and that the camouflaged umbu surrounded him. What? Even Iruka seemed surprised. Probably because he was. Do you really think I'm that naive? The old man is the first I went to see. That way was the best to know your real motive. The mental torture you're undergoing right now is so much sweeter anyway, said the grinning blonde. Mizuki shouted at being had by a Genin nonetheless, right before he was knocked out cold. A medic umbu took care of Iruka's wounds while Naruto turned to talk with the Hokage. Thank you, Naruto, said the old man, bowing his head. You stopped what could have been a disaster. Come and take tea with me sometime. I miss those days when you barged in my office with Sasuke in tow, demanding a new jutsu to learn that would blow up a mountain with 2 or 3 seals. Naruto chuckled at that. Beware of what you ask, old man. Now, for your end of the deal. HAA. Yes. You can choose a technique in the scroll of forbidden jutsu, and so does Sasuke. Just, be wary. Be careful. Do not overestimate yourself. Don't strain your mind, deplete your chakra, cut a limb or drink milk past the due date. Yeah. As if I would do any of these. Why don't you help us then? You would be sure we got it right. Why now, that's a rich idea, answered Sarutobi, delighted. Getting a forbidden jutsu to learn, trained by the Hokage named the professor. I must not droll Naruto though. Iruka, once healed but still having soft spots from his injuries, gave the team's orders, first thing in the morning. Naruto and Sasuke were particularly glad for some reason. The fangirls though that the cat that just ate the canary look was quite hot on Sasuke. Many of them wished they had been that canary. Team 7, Uchiha Sasuke, Uzumaki Naruto, Haruno Sakura, there. They were with a fangirl. That wasn't really fair to say since the only way not to be with one would have been to be paired with Hinata. Too bad. Naruto would have liked to be with his cousin. On the other side, this was safer for her. The Jonin's instructors came and went, gathering their students. Now happened what every child liked the least in a daycare center. They were the last being picked up. Damn those Sakura, where is he? Doesn't he, whoever he is, know he have to come here? She resumed her favorite hobby, looking at Sasuke. He was currently whispering to Naruto. Naruto actually made a pretty good background. Oh my god! I still can't believe I am teamed up with the 2 hottest boy of the class. Look at those 2. They look at me? Yes they did. Sasuke did. Oh my god! He's walking this way. Oh my god! He's going to speak to me. Their masked Jonin chose that moment to enter the classroom. Sasuke turned around and sat back aside of Naruto. No. 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 My romance. My ninja summer love. In an excess of frustration, Sakura took a chalkboard eraser and threw it right at the source of the disturbance. Square in the face of the disturbance, in fact, making the Jonin look like a no actor. My. My first impression of you all is. The tall Jonin lifted his head in contemplation a moment, then turned toward them and gave them the finger. Yes, you got it. Not the thumb. Hi everyone. As I told you yesterday, this is the real Genin test, said the Jonin instructor. Naruto actually chuckled at that. Another real Genin test. That gets old. Ha. Yes. I heard of what happened 2 days ago. Don't worry, that won't change the result of this, even one bit. Know that the chance of failure is 66%. And I have yet to pass a team. Now. It's 11 o'clock. You have 1 hour to grab one of those 2. He showed the round golden balls tied at his belt. Bells. For the 2 who win, a Genin certificate and dinner. The loser is kissed goodbye and back to the academy. It is starting now. At the signal, they all choose a different direction and took off in the trees. Nice departure. Maybe there would have been something to do with them yet. Oh well, too bad they fell on me. With that, he got a little orange book from his tool pouch and started to read from his uncovered eye. Naruto left, leaving a trail of broken leaves. Then, he simply disappeared. Sasuke, from his point, felt where Naruto vanished. He used all the stealth he was able to. Being far enough from Kakashi, it had a chance to go unnoticed. He stood at a precise point in the area calculated with their starting point, and where Naruto disappeared. Once there, he waited. Sakura was hidden in the bushes, looking at Kakashi and his book. She was a little bit panicking. She just got in the dream team. She was already facing expulsion. But how could she take the place of either of them? Who was she kidding? She could not, even if she wanted. They were way too far ahead of her. She felt a little tremor beneath her, and all she saw after that was darkness and Naruto. What the? SSSSHHH. Not so loud. We may be underground, but vibrations can betray us. Yeah, is that you, Sasuke? Yeah, what's happening? Okay. Who ever heard of the saying, look underneath of the underneath? Started Naruto, forcefully patient. We did, Baka. Stop the lecture. We only have 54 minutes, Sasuke cut him. Alright. That's a trap. No matter how you think about this, no Genin alone can outclass a Jonin. That one in particular. He was Umbu captain before. There is no shitting that guy. So what does he expect us to do? Split up? Team up and then fight the bells among us? What would our team be worth if we fight among ourselves or do things each from our side? So? Asked Sakura, not getting the point. Teamwork. Yep, that was Sasuke. Surprised, huh? Teamwork? That's it. Did the idea of coming to ask for our help to get the bells even cross your mind? Asked Sasuke. Thought so, sighed Naruto. We, Sasuke and I, have a lot to talk to you about. For now, this team is mine and Sasuke's team, and you're just tagging along. You want to be part of the team? You'll have to work for it. Yeah, I got it, she answered, dejected. Her illusion about her dream team crashed down quite hard. Don't make that face. You should have seen that one coming. Instead of being the princess waiting to be saved, you're going to be the partner we can count on. Isn't it better? Naruto said, trying to make her see their view on the matter. Yeah, yes. I guess so. Well now, put it together, we need a plan and fast. That guy is way over our head, but I believe him when he said he will flunk us if we don't get the bells. Sakura slapped her cheek twice to wake herself up. Okay. First off, we need to know what we are working with. What do you have and what can you do? Naruto and Sasuke smiled at this. Where to start from? Kakashi was bored. And a little curious. He never expected the 2-star students of the year to stay away from him. They slipped away from him from the start and kept away from any fighting. Okay, he didn't search very hard for them. He was in an interesting chapter of Ika Paradise. He looked at the clock on the rock. Still 5 minutes and another team down the drain. I will beat a record. Strangely, he was disappointed. He kinda felt something for those 3. He was musing that when a huge fireball came flying straight at him. He jumped over it just to be greeted by another following the first in its dead angle, straight at him. Nice, he said just before being engulfed in flame. A smoking log fell on the ground at his place. He reappeared behind Sasuke only to find Naruto ready to punch his light out, palm first. Surprised they were able to pull that kind of stunt, the masked man stayed on the defense. He didn't know if Naruto had the chakra disrupting touch of the gentle fist, which is almost impossible without the Byakugan, but he didn't want to take the chance. Seeing he was getting nowhere, Naruto jumped back. Another fireball went his way. This is actually fun. You should have started way. But the Jonin was cut off by the fireball exploding apart before it could get to him to give way to the faster fire dragon controlled by Sasuke. Now Kakashi was in a pinch because even if the blonde wasn't that fast, Naruto was cutting a lot of escape routes. The Jonin took off to the trees, trying to get some distance. As planned, Kakashi-sensei, the great Umbu captain, tripped a wire. Half a dozen explosive notes descended on him bungee style on simple ropes. They were all burning up. Oh shit, he back-flipped high just before the explosion. He was caught in a net place to get him. He cut it up to fall in the range of a fury of punches and kicks. He blocked Naruto, grabbed him by the ankle and shoved him in the fire dragon that had caught up to him. Kunais flew from everywhere. He chose a direction, deflected the metal missiles coming to him while running. They actually have me working out a bit. Sasuke, looking exhausted, Naruto, looking burned, and Sakura, looking desperate, all jumped on him in a last attempt to overrun him with taijutsu. He simply backflipped again. Preparing to land on a tree, his eye widened when the members of Team 7 vanished in front of him in smoke. Bushins! Then his foot touched the tree. The blanket, replicating the tree trunk pattern, rolled itself around him. Chakra stuck him to it, stopping him from performing a Kawamiri. 1 second later, 2 more blankets wrapped themselves around him. More chakra stuck to him. He felt himself land on the ground, but not too hard. He would not kill them then. Somewhere, on a rock, an alarm clock rang. Could you at least uncover my head? Please? He asked calmly. Part of the blankets were removed and a gray-haired head popped out of a tight Kakashi roll. A flash blinded him a moment. Sorry, sensei, but I had to keep a souvenir, Naruto said, grinning with a camera in hand. Now, since we caught the 2 bells and the one who was tied to them, could we pass? All 3 of us? He asked, putting the camera away. Kakashi, even in that tight, very thigh spot, saw them standing close to each other. The closeness you allow only to those whom you trust. It's no surprise, really, but you three pass. Sakura jumped in the air, cheering while Sasuke went to free their teacher. He simply cut the blankets with a kunai. Who came up with this plan? Asked Kakashi. Sakura raised her hand, a proud smile on her face. Nicely done. I bet you're the one who laid the traps too. Very nice. For the boys, I have to say you are above average genin level. Yes, that is a compliment. If you put work into it, you might even consider a ninja career. Thanks, sensei, they said, rolling their eyes. It's nothing, kids, Kakashi said, messing with Naruto's hair. Well then, let's meet at the bridge at 9 o'clock sharp tomorrow morning. Thank you for the souvenir, Naruto-kun. I need a laugh now and then. Saying this, he disappeared in a puff of smoke with Naruto's camera in hand. Hey! That's cheating! He yelled in the air. Oh, I'm sorry, Naruto. I would have loved to show that picture to Ino Pig, said Sakura, looking disappointed. Huh? Oh. No problem. That one had in blank film, Naruto said, waving off. What? Asked the strawberry blonde, confused. Yeah. I took the good one off before he went away with the camera, and I bet he managed to steal it too, said Sasuke, smirking. Naruto searched in his pockets. Yep. He did. They both laughed quietly. What's so funny? Asked Sakura, tired to be left in the dark. Well, everything went began, Naruto. As it was planned, finished Sasuke. A Bushin of Sasuke climbed down a tree, gave them a numeric camera and then vanished in smoke. The flash was a distraction, the raven-haired boy explained. The film, a decoy. We took a lot of pictures when he was still trapped over his head, but that was a Bushin. An illusion. It cannot take pictures. It is only smoke. Objected Sakura. Well, that was not a regular Bushin. That was a Kage Bushin, corrected Naruto. Yeah. We learned that one just yesterday. It's a physical type of Bushin, a clone jutsu. It can really fight, but can't take much damage before being dispelled. And it take an insane amount of chakra compared to a regular Bushin, explained Sasuke. Who taught you that? Asked Sakura, clearly curious now. That, said Naruto, is a secret. Unless you accept to come with us at Ichiraku for a ramen. Then we will tell you. We'll tell you about what we expect from you at the same occasion. Sakura gulped. But she had already made her choice when she was underground, devising a plan to get the bells. Okay, lead the way. Is a ramen any good? She complied. Once they were seated in the small noodle shop, Ichiraku went to see his two best customers himself. The Anakis. Hello there. He greeted them cheerfully. Don't call us that, was heard in stereo. And who might be this fine lady? Hi. I'm Haruno Sakura, pleased to meet you. I'm their teammate on the Genin Team 7. Genin's, hey? Good for you. I saw you two come here often enough so exhausted you could barely lift your chopsticks. Sakura never realized before how much efforts they could put in training. In her mind, they were just strong. She always saw them that way. The 5 courses menu for me and a deluxe pack for Sakura. It's on me, offered Naruto graciously. No. Why didn't you let Sasuke pay for me? Whined Sakura. Why would I? Deadpanned Sasuke. Sakura's head just dropped. Okay, then, Naruto. No way, I'll be the safety wheel, he said, waving at her dismissively. That was a one-time offer. What? She said unbelievingly. Here you go. Miso ramen for Naruto and Sasuke and the special for Miss here, said Ichiraku, always as efficient. Sakura's chagrin was temporarily forgotten by the divine perfume coming out of the steaming bowl. Smell good. What's in it? She asked with interest. Now. Can't give away my special recipe. Ichiraku scolded, winking at her. Hey hum was heard from Naruto as he broke his chopstick apart. Yes, well, I had a few tips from Naruto for the meat choice. Cough made Sasuke as he did the same. And some advice from Sasuke for the sauce, but everything else is all from me. Yeah, said Naruto, the noodles. He high-fived Sasuke, who had absently put his hand up in the air. Still, he tried hard to hide a little smirk behind his bowl. They started eating and Sakura had more of her illusions crushed that day. She was well-mannered. That was why she considered Naruto's etiquette as raw. He didn't burp or slurp, put food everywhere around or anything of the sort. But if a professor in manners was to see this, he would probably turn away, sick at the sheer speed he went at it. It seemed that his goal was to put all the noodles, meat, vegetables and sauce in his mouth and swallow it all in one big gulp. She had yet to see him chew. HAA. That is the best, he said after the content of the first bowl was gone. He just invented the ramen shooter technique. What's so different between your miso ramen and his? Asked Sakura, remembering their orders. Huh. Nothing, answered the blonde, slightly bemused. Then why did you call yours the 5 courses? Ha! No. The 5 courses is another of my inventions. It's not on the menu. It's 1 bowl of miso ramen, 1 of pork, 1 of chicken, 1 of beef and 1 of seafood. Sakura jaw hung low as he received his second bowl. She was taking her second mouthful. That's where all his energy came from. After his second bowl, and receiving his third, Naruto put his chopsticks, almost unused, down. It was time for business. Sakura, began Sasuke, what Naruto is about to tell you about are the conclusion reached by both of us. Don't let feelings get in the way. This is serious. Sakura slowed down. She just lost her appetite. Another test. She feared that one even more than the bells. Listen, we know a little bit more now about your strengths and weaknesses, and let me say that we are not impressed nor are we disappointed. That's more or less what we expected. So here we are, you got to get stronger, a lot. Physically first. Your stamina, strength, and speed is Kunoichi Genin level. You are a Genin. If you want to stay a Genin, then do nothing. You will execute low-level ranked missions until you either give up, find a place in the ninja administration, or something. To become a Chunin, you gotta be at least as strong as a Chunin. Same with Jonin, Anbu, or to be specially recognized like the 3 Sanins. Yes, that is logical, agreed Sakura. Right now you are blank, Naruto kept out, never chewing his words. Don't misunderstand me, it is not bad. It can even be an advantage right now. You do not have any specialty yet. You can choose yourself one. You've got one heck of a brain. You can think of something you will totally be good at. Always look at the bigger picture and set the steps to get in it. The problem is that right now, you don't have the minimum of a physical condition to try anything really good. We will set training for you and you will follow it. We have a schedule already planned. You will train with us. Are you okay with this? Sakura finished her bowl slowly, set it down and looked at it. Yeah, I got it. If you don't mind, I'll go home now, she said in a whisper. Okay, nodded Sasuke. Just one last word, out of all of this, these efforts, you'll gain something, believe me. Don't see this as a scolding, but as an offer of opportunities. Thank you, Sasuke, for actually worrying. I'm gonna be okay. I just need time to think, said the girl, getting up. She slowly walked toward her home. Could it have been better? Asked Naruto, looking at her back until she passed the corner. I don't think so. We should understand. It was her little girl dream, after all. Once she finally reached it, it crashed down. Yeah. I was wondering what do we do about the little park walk? Oh yeah? We'll have to wait for a break of at least a few days. That's impossible right now. But it'll have to be soon, Meanwhile, we'll take Sakura to the compound and train her. She's going to have to work with Lee too. Let's hope we won't break her. The first week was full of surprise for Kakashi, of boredom for Naruto and Sasuke, and hell for Sakura. The masked Jonin, after coming hours late at every single team meeting, was not waited on anymore. When he was finally gracing the Genins with his holy presence, he found them all training, Naruto and Sasuke coaching Sakura. She always ended up spent before the mission. Still, she never complained and went on steadily. Sasuke and Naruto could only spar with basic techniques in public or some physical training like doing tracks and some chakra control exercises. It was frustrating not to be able to train to their full extent in order to keep their strength a secret. Naruto started to bring a huge leather-bound book with him. He carried it everywhere with a fine brush and jet black ink and would, at every opportunity, sit down and write. When Kakashi asked, he admitted he was making their own explosive notes. The materials were cheaper than the notes. What he wasn't saying was that he didn't want anyone suspicious about why he needed so much explosive tags. The missions were even more boring. The way they got through them was the surprising bit, though. One day, they had to weed a garden. Naruto made a weird jutsu that made the good plants uproot the bad ones. The disturbing thing was how violently they did so. The next day, they were to help with deliveries. They put all their heart to it. It was surprising the cream in the groceries bags did not turn to butter. They made a day's job in 2 hours. In the end, the manager wasn't glad or upset since they got there 4 hours late thanks to Kakashi. Then, they had to clean a field. They made the judicious use of a mini tornado jutsu to gather the trash and burn them within it with a fire jutsu. Seeing the raging and twisting inferno, Naruto and Sasuke looked at themselves with wide eyes. They high-fived, laughing knowingly. That was a killer combo jutsu. On the next day, that very field had to be prepared for the next crops. Thanks Kami for the Kagebushin. The mission that upset Kakashi the most, at the end of the week, was to catch Tora, the Fire Lord wife's cat. Tora came back happy and purring. The matron was quite pleased. What she didn't know was that Naruto put a genjutsu on Tora that changed Kakashi, to his eyes, in acute feline in heat. He very willingly ran up to him, trying to mate. Then, the weekend came. Then another week. A month went by. Then another. And then Naruto's and Sasuke's patience fled to the south for winter. Sakura's own patience caught up with them. Unknowingly, her character changed to fit Sasuke's and Naruto's. But it was mostly her own inner self that was coming out. Team 7. Your mission today will be, said the Hokage, while searching in the pile of rank D missions. Oh no, old man. Pull out another D rank again and I set your damn hat on fire. The room felt silent, even Sakura, who still had her finger pointing the Hokage, a stunned expression on her face about her own outburst. Then, the Hokage let out a quiet laugh. A Haruno who speaks her mind finally. Take care of this one, Kakashi, mumbled Sarutobi. He took a C-rank scroll and tossed it to the Jonin. You can come in, Tazuna. I've got your team, said the Hokage, raising his voice. An unshaved man, drinking sake directly from a jug, entered the room. 2 bums, a flat-chest girl and a grown bum? That's my team, Hokage-sama? He said, drinking from a sake bottle. Don't worry, Tazuna-san, said a bowing Naruto. We are most capable of defending you against bandits. What if we encounter more? Asked Tazuna, suspicious. Do you expect more? Asked Naruto, raising an eyebrow. Of course not. The bridge maker answered, taking a step back. Then there is no need to worry, assured Naruto. Tazuna-san began a frowning Hokage. We'll be going now. See ya, old man, said Naruto quickly. He pulled and pushed Tazuna rather forcefully out of the room, followed by Sasuke, still a hand on Sakura's mouth, dragging her effortlessly after being called flat-chest. They walked out of the tower and agreed to meet by the town's gate in 2 hours. They got everything they needed for long-term mission and went back to a still-drinking Tazuna. By the speed he went at it, they hoped he didn't have a spare jug. Kakashi finally asked Naruto what was on his mind. No, what was that about Naruto-kun? Asked Kakashi to Naruto discreetly. You're the teacher. Figure it out, said Naruto smugly. They were out of earshot from Tazuna, in the forest, when Kakashi spoke his mind. Well, Tazuna is hiding something about the level of the mission, and you stopped the Hokage from finding out exactly what. So my guess is that you hope that there will be ninjas involved and that it will increase the rating of this mission. That would be shown in your record for the eventual biannual Chunin exam, and it will give a bigger paycheck? What? Asked Naruto, looking up at his sensei. You think too far. It'll be fun. Kakashi's sweat dropped. Fun? Sasuke ended in the rear guard with Naruto, while Sakura went up ahead. Kakashi was talking with Tazuna about some paradise of sort. So? Asked Sasuke. He guessed. He's good, said Naruto, nodding. He's a genius. We knew that. We're not exactly stupid either, but he feigned taking us for it. He want us to think he underestimate us. Oh. So that we try to show him off, said Naruto, understanding hitting him. Yeah, acknowledged Sasuke. Thanks. I would have fallen for that one. I know. That's why I'm telling you. Eventually, we'll have to show our stronger side. Yeah, I know, Aniki. But it became almost second nature to hide it, you know? You saw that? Interrupted Sasuke suddenly. Yeah. Give them 10 seconds. They'll target Sensei first anyway. The fun begin already, smirked Sasuke. Time to show off then. A little, agreed Naruto. 2 bladed chains wrapped themselves around Kakashi and ripped him to shred. Sakura shouted at the sight but jumped protectively in front of Tazuna. The old man barely had the time to turn around to see a log fall to the ground in pieces, so sudden was the attack. 2 heavy-gloved ninja, with chains flying around, hurled themselves at Naruto and Sasuke. Those 2 still haven't got their hands out of their pockets. Then they disappeared, leaving only a little cloud of dust where they were. They reappeared behind each other's assailants, and kicked them on the side of the head simultaneously. The enemy nins had the time to spin only halfway around before they were kicked, once more, in the ass this time. Hard. They simply flew at each other, the impact making a sickening crunch. They impaled each other's with their claws so hard that their insides were spilling on the ground from their back. Now that's a truly pathetic end. To die from a kick in the ass, Naruto said evenly. Kakashi, jumping from his perch, sweat dropped again. He felt he would do this a lot from now on. Sakura looked sick. How are you faring, Sasuke, Naruto? The Jonin asked, walking toward them. They looked at each other. Emotions played very fast on their faces, but without his Sharingan on, they were too fast to be caught. They were destined to each other anyway. They turned back to Kakashi, their masks well in place. A ninja must never show any emotions. It's in the books, Sensei, Sasuke answered. Naruto nodded at Sasuke's single statement. Alright then. While we're stopped, we'll take a break. Naruto, Sakura, search the bodies. Sasuke, come with me. We have to talk to Tazuna-san. Don't be too hard on him, Sensei. The mission is getting interesting, Naruto said excitedly. Kakashi face faulted. Never show any emotion, eh? Sakura, at first, didn't even want to touch the bodies. They made an impossible pattern on the ground, dripping blood that splattered a few feet around. Naruto took things in charge. He would not do all the work. She had to learn to deal with this. Sakura, I can't. He's dead. And still hot. And bloody. It's still pouring out of him. How? Calm down, Naruto said, interrupting her. He took her in his arms from behind. What are you? SHHHH. You're panicking. We'll do this together. Kakashi sent you to do this on purpose. He knows that you would have difficulties with killing and stuff. He knelt down with her in front of the body, his arms still circling hers. He's dead. You're right. His soul left his body already. There is nothing to fear from a body, if it's trapped. He's not, and you know it. We didn't find him like that. We killed him. Sakura shivered. I know, whispered Naruto. We took 2 men's life. You'll be expected to do the same when the time comes. Did you like training with us? Hanging out? What does it have to do with this? She asked, shaking. Answer me, please. Well, yeah. Yes. It was different. You never made fun of me. I even don't laugh, okay? I even felt you 2 respected me and my strength. I, myself, have a lot more self-respect than I used to and I feel better. Of course we respect you. You made the effort to be part of the team. Ninja is a disturbing job. We have to see past the first image people have about things. Like death. What we have before us is like a rock. A house. A log. A glass of water. A cloud. How come? It's not alive. Don't see it as a dead body of someone but as something that is simply not alive. Naruto took one of her hand and gently made her touch the back of the body. He kept it there a while. When she began to shake less, he made her touch what is usually considered gross on a dead body. The blood on the ground, the laying intestine, the inside of the mouth, the glassy eyes, and then he made her take his vest off. At this point, he got up and went to the other body. Search everywhere for anything. Sakura nodded and went back to business. She only wrinkled her nose at the smell. Naruto smiled softly at her. She was brave. He was proud. He hid his own trembling hand covered in blood. He didn't feel any compassion for the guy, but it was his first time dealing with a dead body too. For all the trouble, they found an oil pouch for the claws, some explosives notes that Naruto put in his book, a few feet of steel wire and a flash bomb. Of course, there was the clothes and the chain gloves. Tazuna was white when Kakashi and Sasuke came back from the talk. Sasuke-kun, you're sure you're not the long-lost son of Ibuki-san? Asked Kakashi mildly. Shut up. He was being stubborn, answered the raven-haired ninja. Even then, Naruto. Sakura. Go clean yourself. That's disgusting. Found anything? The usual tools. Nothing else. They must be part of a larger group. They are, but that was not a given. They were Chunin level after all. Those are the demon brothers. You are totally shitting us, right? Said Naruto, unbelieving. I mean, it's great for the bonus, but still. Chunin level? They were. All Chunins are not as strong as in Konoha, argued Kakashi, his hands before him. Sakura gladly went to clean herself. She felt dirty. She washed her hand hard, but the phantom trace of the blood would not come off. Naruto had plunged his entire head in the little water stream they found. Then he checked his clothing and judged they could do without a wash for a while. He stared at Sakura, still washing slowly but harshly her hand and arms. Naruto took a soap bar and tosses it at her. Here. That's for the bloodstains. Nothing resists that stuff. Really? Hell yeah. She took it gratefully and washed herself once again. After the rinse, she sighed in delight. The blood was gone. She felt better. What she didn't know was that soap had a hyperhydrating formula, which was what made her feel better. Naruto gave her a placebo and it worked wonderfully. She was about to give him the soap back, but then, Hiya! You managed to put blood in your hair. Naruto didn't have the time to protest that his head was stuck in the water and his hair scrubbed rather forcefully with his own soap. Don't worry. I'll get it off. Having his head in the water and his hand flying around, Naruto didn't hear her. They finally got back, Sakura proud of herself and Naruto rubbing his head painfully. So what do we do now? Asked the leader of their team. Huh? What do you mean, Kakashi-sensei? Well, the mission is not as it was explained. We should go back to the village since there are really ninjas after him. We were not paid for that. Bullshit. Adjustment can be done. Yo! Taz! If we get you safe to build your bridge, you're gonna make more money, right? Shouted Naruto. Yes, did he say with a dark look. He was afraid to lose all help at this point. Then everything is fine. Naruto waved off. Sasuke rolled his eyes but started walking on the road alongside of Naruto, who was already off. Sakura meant to follow them but stayed on Tazuna's side. Kakashi took the rear guard. It looked like his team was going headfirst into troubles. They walked some more, less merry and more attentive. Kakashi wasn't even reading his book. Naruto and Sasuke even had their hands out of their pockets. Sakura knew they were serious now. No more kid games. This was not training, this was what they enlisted for. Missions, dangers, deaths. Why was it that the shivers on her back weren't totally unpleasant? She wondered if she was affected by the split ear-to-ear grin that the two other Genins wore. Leaves rustled up in the tree a moment before the yell of Kakashi to get down. Sakura and Tazuna bent over. Kakashi did too, but not Sasuke nor Naruto. The sword caught them right at mid-level. In fact, it would be more precise to say that the baggy short duo caught the sword at mid-level. They skid a few feet from the impact, but they didn't seem hurt at all. Cool! A new toy! Exclaimed Naruto. Alright. You can try it first. Sheesh, said Sasuke, rolling his eyes at Naruto, who was almost strolling. I do? Yatta! Thanks, Aniki. A gray-white masked ninja cleared his throat. He was standing on a tree branch, looking annoyed. He wore metal arm protectors, black pants, and some light body armor. I won't stoop so low as to ask for my weapon back, but shouldn't you bring your own on a mission? Be careful, boys, Kakashi said loudly. That's Zabuza, the demon of hidden mist. He's a Jonin level missing nin. Sasuke and Naruto looked at each other. Sasuke took something in his pouch. He and Naruto put on the sunglasses that never left the top of their heads, and Sasuke threw a flash bomb in the air as if it was the most natural thing to do. For a moment, Zabuza was half-blinded by a crude light he didn't have time to completely block. The next, he was cut in two by his own sword that Naruto wielded. Water fell down at the same time Naruto touched the ground. "Watch out, Naruto! That was a Mizubushin!" yelled Sakura. "A what?" Then he was cut in two by Zabuza, who appeared from nowhere with a kunai. The Kagebushin dispelled. "Oh! A Mizubushin! Why didn't you say so?" said Naruto, walking from behind a tree. He tossed the sword to Sasuke. "Your turn. That one is fun to play with." Now Kakashi really had questions about his team's abilities. He prepared himself to jump in the fray if needed, but neither Naruto nor Sasuke seemed stressed. He decided to wait and see. Sakura too stood ready, but wasn't going forward for another reason. She knew she was totally outclassed. It was funny to notice now, but didn't she always saw Naruto and Sasuke with armbands or bracelets on? When did they take them off? Anyway, she promised herself right there she would battle the next adversary that would be near her level. She would not stay a dead weight. Sasuke walked up to Zabuza slowly. When he was about 10 meters from him, he threw the sword with all his strength, spinning, right at Zabuza. He then put his hand together and made a seal. The sword doubled in speed. The missing Nin decided against catching it and simply dodged. He looked back ahead to see his sword coming right at him. Genjutsu. He managed to dodge it again, but it left a bloody trail up his arm. Then the dark-eyed teenager, who had jumped toward him, landed a huge slap on the side of his head. The genjutsu hid his movement too. The boy finished with a back flip kick on the jaw. Zabuza's mask ripped apart, and a few teeth went loose. The missing ninja jumped out of reach but landed on his back. He tried to get back up but fell down again. Damn! The kid hit his balance center with that slap. He didn't wait until it came back and made seals at a breakneck speed. On the last one, he rolled on his side, touching the top of the water of the lake he landed next to. Suetun, Water Dragon Blast Technique. The construct of water burst out of the surface of the lake as if he was hiding there all along, waiting to be released. Zabuza moved a little, just turning his head to be sure not to lose his target from Sai. He was hoping to get rid of him, or at least wound him. The teeth of the mythical water beast were sharp enough to cut whole trees. Sasuke was thrilled. He had the upper hand on a Jonin. Okay, he was not a Konoha's Jonin, and the guy had probably underestimating him from the start, but still. He swiftly made hand seals for one of his specialty. Katon, Dragon Fire Technique. Sasuke didn't try to be subtle there. He shoved the fire dragon right at the water one. Both of them disappeared in steam that rolled off on the earth, hiding everything from view. Zabuza was happy. This was his strength. He didn't even have to call the mist himself. He managed to get up. He saw a clouded figure approach him. He jumped on it before it could react and strike at it with a closed fist. It simply vanished. No smoke, no poof, no nothing. He heard something behind him. He turned around, striking at the source of the noise. Once again, he felt only air. A bad chill went down his back. Where were they? How come those kids could find him while he could not trace the young pricks? He heard multiple little noises around him that betrayed many clones' positions. He threw a kunai at each of them. All projectiles found something metallic. How could he be surrounded? Then he saw him. The little punk dared walk to him, smirking, holding all of his kunais. He juggled with them, throwing one near Zabuza's face, nearly scratching him. His balance was back, but he had a better idea than to move from his spot. Let him approach just a little bit closer. Then the black-haired teen jumped at him, a kunai in each hand, aiming for his neck. He had plenty of time to put his hand seals together. Water Prison Technique. He shot his hand straight on the chest of the Leaf Menace and bound him instantly in a bubble of water that touched the surface of the lake. He allowed himself a brief smile. He would have allowed himself to keep it if a steel wire had not circled his neck. He strained his neck muscle to keep himself from choking, but the pressure applied on the wire was not enough from the start. Unnatural wind picked up and he could see the blonde at the other end of the wire. "Release me or I kill that little roaster with my last strengths," threatened the missing ninja. "Go ahead, that's a Bushin." To prove it, the clone in the water balloon vanished in smoke. It was fun to see the smoke of a Bushin trapped in a bubble of water. Zabuza was stunned. They put him on his knees. They managed to capture him. What do we do now? I'm sure he doesn't want to finish his life here and now. Even with his low performance today, he's still Zabuza of the Mist, said Naruto. If you don't kill me now, I'll get you eventually, the enemy Nin replied. That guy really got a death wish. Doesn't he have a happy life? Wanna talk about it? Asked him Naruto. Did you have a sad childhood? Didn't your mother breastfeed you? My guess, with those teeth of yours, is that she didn't, Zabuza growled, right before receiving 2 senbons in the neck. If he would not have been tied by the throat, he would have fell face down on the ground. He should be grateful for the small thing now, should he? A small ninja jumped down a tree and got to the limp body. Thank you for stopping him. I've been after him for a while, the small, masked ninja said. You're a Mistambu, stated Kakashi. Yes. I'll take care of the body now, he stated, cutting Naruto's wire. Wait. You just show up and then leave with the body? protested Sakura. Sasuke and Naruto did all the work. It's them who should get the reward for catching him. Now, Sakura, scolded Kakashi. Mist Anbu have priorities over for Mist missing needs. You would not want to start a conflict between our hidden villages over a corpse now, do you? Sakura crossed her arm and pouted. Still, it's not fair. The Anbu didn't seem to know what to say to that. He took the body under one armpit and simply jumped away. Thank Sakura for defending our interests, said Naruto, smiling. We didn't know about that at first. We'll just lodge a claim for Zabuza's bounty at the Mist village. It's just so unfair. She huffed, throwing her hands down. Your battle was awesome. Just how strong are you? He just happened to underestimate us, said Sasuke noncommittally. If he had not, it would have been a lot more challenging. They started on the road again. Tazuna looked at them with newfound respect. He didn't know what kind of man Gato had at his side, but that one must have been amongst the strongest. He had more than a fighting chance now. He even had good hope in total victory, so those two. They are your partners, or? He asked Kakashi on a conversation tone. They are my students, the Jonin stated proudly. What, you're stronger? Asked the bridge-maker. Very much so. Tazuna had a smile for the rest of the trip. Sakura went to see Naruto and Sasuke that walked further in front of the group this time, not expecting any more attack for a while. You've been talking a lot since we encountered that Zabuza guy. What's up? Asked Sakura, curious. That wasn't an Anbu that got him. That's probably one of his allies, stated Sasuke. Now Sakura was surprised. On what basis did they state that? Kakashi, always having an ear out, explained the reasoning the brothers came to. He was using senbons, which is not the style of a fighter but more of a medic nin. Anbus are fighters, killers. Period. He only needed the head as a proof. A missed Anbu would have simply cut it off. Then why letting him go? She asked. So we can battle him later, grinned Naruto. Sakura threw her hands in the air, giving up. But she could not stop a smile to get to her lips. They got to the bridge, which was not a simple amount of plank. It was huge, and even if it wasn't finished, it lost itself in the afternoon fog. It was a strange place. Who ever heard of an afternoon fog? They went to Tazuna's house to be greeted by a grateful daughter and an angry lethargic grandson. He's quite the little sunshine, is he? Said the blonde, pointing the whining young boy who huffed and left the house. Naruto! Scolded him his teammate. What? You heard him yourself, Sakura. Why are you even bothering? You're all gonna die. What kind of mindset is that? Don't blame him, Tazuna said. He have had a hard time. His father, at least the one who he was looking up to, was killed by Gato and his men. He became like that shortly after. Kaiser-san was optimistic and swore to him to protect this land with his own strength. When he died, Inari lost all hope for this place. Naruto and Sasuke looked at each other. Naruto had angry eyes. Surprisingly, Sasuke tapped his arm lightly and went outside, following the path Inari took earlier when he went out. Aren't you going, Naruto? Asked his sensei, figuring he would be the one doing the talking. And Kakashi-sensei. I better not. I might yell a bit too much at him. Sasuke's more in control of his emotions. He can do this. If he can, I'll go and ring some bells in the kid's head. Don't scare the grandson of the customer. He hasn't paid yet, said Kakashi, amused. Since the contract was to protect the bridge until it was done building, Team 7 decided to give them a hand to speed things up a bit. Progresses were astounding from then on. It seems to help to have workers who can multiply, lift whole beams by themselves, and shot killer looks or hostile intents to anybody talking about quitting. The motivation was sky high. They had something more dangerous to be scared of than Gato now. Even Inari changed a little. He took to watching them work, a pensive look on his face. When Kakashi asked Sasuke what he told Inari, he answered simply, my life. He wasn't sure how Inari could still find sleep after such a tale, but it seems to bear its fruits. Tazuna even caught him looking at his little muscles in front of a mirror. He began to understand. You want something done? Do it yourself. That's what Kaiser did, and he died content. Inari slowly began to smile more. He took part in the construction, even if it was only to hand the tools to the workers. One day, a child asked for food to Naruto while they were buying supplies. The blonde ninja was with Tazuna. What they saw on the shelves disturbed him. Didn't they have crops? How come that child was forced to beg to eat? He went to the rice merchant, the young kid in tow. The man only had 2 bags left. Naruto grabbed the child and told him to bring other children who were hungry like him. He got his wallet out and simply bought what was left. It was way more expensive than any rice should be paid for, but he didn't care. When the child got back, followed by many more, he put the rice into smaller bags and gave it to them, telling them to bring that to their mothers to cook. Some of them looked delighted. Most of them looked crestfallen. The first one who asked him for food pulled on his sleeve, a sad look in his eye. If I don't have a mommy, do I have to give it back? Naruto wanted to cry right there and then. For those who don't have a mommy, follow me. I don't have one either, he yelled. He started to walk down the road, a dozen kids following him around. He got to the vegetable stand and bought a few more things. He had his arms full when he got back to Tazuna. Kid, your heart is at the right place. But even if you give them food today, they will still be hungry tomorrow. And then what, Tazuna-san? Hissed Naruto. Even if there are more kids tomorrow, those of today will have eaten something. They will fare a little longer. They will have a few moments where their stomachs will feel so full it would burst. That's what it's going to do. When I'll be gone, when this place will fill itself with people, money, food, work and everything that make a town a good place to live, I expect you and the townsfolk to take care of those less fortunate. It will be your responsibility. They are hungry tomorrow? Give them soup. The day after? Give them bread. The day after that? Give them boiled vegetables. Got it? Tazuna could do nothing else but to nod dumbly. He never thought about it this way. Yes, he knew the basic, feed a child one day and he will bother you for the next week. Naruto opened his eyes that the child who were fed one day will be hungry the next. As anybody would, Naruto made a bunch of clones and set them to work. They made the boiler for the rice and vegetables from bamboo he cut himself. He started a fire and set some flat rocks over it for the handmade boiler, and entertained the kids with acrobatics moves and ninja sparring matches between clones. His audience was delighted. They were having the time of their life. For a moment, they forgot they were homeless, without parents and in dirty old clothes. They never forgot they were hungry though, since they smelt the food from the pots getting ready, smelling better by the minutes. Food's ready! Wash your hand in the water buckets, or you get nothing! Yelled Naruto, having found an apron somewhere. Clean hands presented themselves to eat with freshly made wooden bowls. They ate and laughed as some clones which were still doing some tricks now and then. Once they were finished eating, the clones told them to wash their bowls. When they were presented clean enough, their names were kunai carved in them and given back. They were odd. They were crudely and hastily made, out of very ordinary wood, but it was theirs. The surprises didn't end there though. The clones lead them in the proximity of the village where a new building stood. Like the bowl, it was made of freshly cut wood. The design was simple to be generous, and the ground was still on barren earth. But like the bowls, that place was now theirs to live in. There were only 4 rooms in it, but it was vast enough for them all. Mattress made of straw waited for them. After that good a meal and so much laugh, they all went to bed, yawning. Naruto watched them, waving at the thank you Nai-chan he got on the way. Yes, though that's what a big brother would do. He was covered with sand and grime. His hands were red from the rushed manual work. He had the help of his clone, but they could do only so much. He had to work really fast to get it done while the kid were eating. He got back at Tazuna's place, tired and emotionally drained. Nobody asked where he had been. They saw. That's how the 4th day ended. The bridge was to be finished the 5th. The next morning, Kakashi told his other teammates to let Naruto sleep. It was no sense to have him exhausted on the bridge. Sasuke had a pensive and envious look in his face. I wonder how it feels. How does what feel, Sasuke-kun? Asked Sakura, to be called an Ai-chan. She didn't have any answer to that. She only took his hand and squeezed it a little. He smiled at her a little, before putting the mask back on. She let his hand go. She knew that's as close she could get to him. She understood why he built that wall around him. She was envious of Naruto too, not because of the attention from the children, but to be able to be so close to the real Sasuke. The bridge, when they got there, was surrounded in fog. Thick, sound-absorbing and chilling fog. He's back, whispered Sakura. No, Sakura-chan, countered Kakashi, they are back. 2 forms could be guessed in the thick mist. Yo. Did I miss anything? Said a blonde, dropping from a long jump at their side. Naruto. Weren't you sleeping? Asked Sakura to her fresh-looking teammate. Yeah, but noises downstairs woke me up. Inari tried to take on 2 shitty samurai and got his ass handed to him. Gotta give him that, he never backed down to them. Even got one on the shin with his civ helmet. What happened to them? Asked Kakashi. Me, deadpan Naruto with a deadly look. Oh, yeah, copy ninja, Kakashi said, one shadow in the mist. Will you let your underling fight for you again? I don't know, Zabuza-chan, they did well last time, answered Kakashi. The silence they got back proved one thing. Kakashi already managed to have him pissed. You took him by surprise. That's the only reason, began a juvenile voice. Shut up, Haku. Know your place. Hi, Zabuza-sama. Sama-mason, your servant seems smarter than you, Zabuza-baka. He knew when to flee. Kakashi kept pushing. Naruto wasn't that much interested in a fight anymore. The evil those 2 were doing, probably for money, disgusted him. I've got an idea, he said. Why don't we bet? I bet our Sakura-chan can beat your Haku-san. If he can beat her, we leave this place. If she does best him, you leave this place. I don't care about getting your reward anymore. Seeing you make me sick. Kakashi looked at Naruto with his eye wide. He never agreed to that. Even if that Haku was weaker than Zabuza, that was not saying much. Naruto, he began darkly. Don't worry, Kakashi-sensei. Sakura's a big girl, said Naruto offhandedly. I want to do this, sensei, Sakura said, her face a mask of resolve. Kakashi turned to the only girl of the team. She was serious. She didn't want to be left behind. He scratched his head, sighing. I agree to your bet, blonde punk. Get ready to dig her grave. Spoke Zabuza from his mist. Go drown yourself. That will prevent you the humiliation. Now tell your boy toy to get his ass over here and meet Sakura halfway. The battle will begin when they want, countered Naruto. Sakura walked at a fast pace toward the enemy Nin. The one named Haku jumped from his pillar he was standing on and landed in front of her. He haven't changed one bit from the last time they saw him. They heard Zabuza shout a technique. Kakashi stood ready. A green mist appeared behind them. This will prevent any intrusions. That corrosive mist will dissolve anybody that goes into it, gloated Zabuza. In fact, it could eat the wood and rock of the bridge in about 20 minutes, I say. If you try to disperse it, even a little emanation breathed will kill the villagers on the other side. Kick his ass, Sakura. Don't hesitate. Never, yelled Naruto. Sakura knew what it meant. If she had to kill him to win, she'll do it. No pulled punch. She was standing, kunai ready in front of the masked imposter. He carried a senbon. From now on, you will only be able to dodge, he said as a greeting. Then, he disappeared. Then Haku disappeared. Fast, though Sakura, but it was not too fast. She turned left, blocking the senbon with her kunai. Her hand was shaking from her effort, but surprisingly, she was not giving in much to Haku. Now, she knew she was a little weaker than him. She would have to use her speed. She disengaged and started her own attack. As soon as her weapon met her adversaries, she changed angle and launched another one. Thrust, stab, down swipe and uprising move succeeded at a very fast pace. Now it was Haku on the defense. Are you attacking me with such ferocity because you realized you can't win? He asked from behind his mask. Sakura absently heard the words. Her first reaction was to smile. Your taunt are nothing compared to Sasuke's, she mocked. Haku slammed his senbon toward her head. Hard. She barely blocked and had to use both her hand to push back. Now that your hands are full, it's over. He began to make one-handed seals. The boys from Team 7 looked at that, jaw slacked. Hell no you won't. Sakura forced chakra in her leg and pushed upward, deflecting the enemy weapon to the side. She used her momentum to headbutt him, sending him stumbling backward. She didn't lose a moment and hit him square in the chest with her fist, followed by an Academy winner kick to the head. He went rolling on the ground. Naruto was cheering loudly while Sasuke was just smiling. Haku woke up, his mask crumbling. You could already see a bleeding lip. He used both hands for a complicated series of seal. Sakura ran up to him, hoping to interrupt again, but it was too late. Demonic ice mirror. From the air came a chill and all around her materialized just that, ice mirrors. Haku jumped back and fused into one of them. His image appeared on each of the 9 mirrors circling her. It's over, stated Zabuza from his pillar. Nobody can escape this technique. That's his bloodline. I trained him personally. You should give up while she's alive. Did you hear that, Sakura? Shouted Naruto. Zabuza-chan said you should give up and let the big boys take care of this. What do you say? Wanna spend your days chasing Tora? Sakura was shaking from the cold, the fear and something else she had trouble recognizing. The little jab from Naruto made her fear evaporate. If he cared to joke around, he knew she could do it. Her fear gone, she managed to identify the remaining feeling that made her shake. A mix of anticipation and excitement. The hell with that flea-furred ball. This is so much more fun, she yelled. Sasuke let out a low laugh. So she awakened, he whispered. She sure did, agreed Naruto. Who awakened? Asked Kakashi, now lost. Her inner self, began Naruto. Her violent self, kept on Sasuke. Her ninja side, her combative spirit, her second personality, that just fused with the original one. We worked hard to make it come out, and we saw the premise of it in the Hokage office. A bloodline of ice mirror? PFF. Let them taste the awakening of a spirit of wild fire. Kakashi was turning his head from one to another, as they were speaking in turns. Seeing them finish and complete each other's ideas was an amazing and quite disturbing sight. Back to Sakura, she began molding chakra in herself. Simple raw energy to add to the next technique she would have to use. Sasuke come up with that in a situation where you have to wait for an attack. Unfortunately, she wasn't prepared for that kind of speed. Haku attacked twice, as the 2 senbons embedded in her left arm and leg proved. She moved to take them off but had a better idea. Still, she had begun the movement. She touched one and winced, one eye closed, as if the pain was too much. As if the pain of her constant bruises from her taijutsu training session with Lee were any less painful, right? She had to provoke him more than that. That could prove dangerous, unless she made hand seals and put her hand to her mouth. Katon, grand fireball, the ball of fire, perfectly executed, hit a mirror head on. She kept it on for a while, and then stopped, looking exhausted. Half of the mirror remained. She took a step forward but the mirror regenerated itself. A new blur of attacks mauled Sakura's body. She raised her arms across her face just in time, but she was still covered with more senbons after the attack. When it ceased, she looked at the dozen of needles puncturing her. A dozen and not even one near a vital spot. He was good, as expected. She smiled behind her arms. She had him. That would be tricky and painful, but it could work. Ha! That's all you can do, Frosty? I'm sure I saw you slow down on that last one. I may look like a pincushion. Absent-mindedly, she realized it must have been Naruto who did that one with the hedgehog and the pincushion focus. But I bet you can't do it again. She finished confidently. Really? What do you bet on that? Asked the boy's reflection from 9 mirrors. Victory, she whispered. I'm in, he immediately said. What they saw from the outside would forever be carved in Kakashi's memory. They felt the beginning of Haku's attack. They heard the ear-splitting scream of Sakura. Then they saw Haku thrown back under one of his mirror, skidding and rolling, pierced by a good number of senbons. The mirrors cracked and fell, giving a good view of Sakura. She had her head still thrown toward the sky in a scream, her breathing hard, her fist balled at the end of her extended arms. It was as if her shout pushed Haku away. Naruto whistled. Nice. A massive chakra outburst on each of the senbons piercing her. Haku must have been close and received them as they were forced out of Sakura's body, like a hedgehog. Like a hedgehog? Asked Sasuke, raising an eyebrow. Oops. You think she figured it out it was me? I'm afraid so. Do I even want to know? Sweat dropped Kakashi. Naruto looked at him, arms crossed. Never mind. Look like we won. Haku won't get back up. Not with Sakura punching his light out through his mask. Sakura. It's okay. I think he's unconscious now. Let him go, Sakura. Let him, yes, that's a good girl. Now breathe. That's it. Watch him but don't kill him just yet. Zabuza was fuming. How could Haku lose to some leaf-stammed Genin? He wasn't having any of this, so Zabuza-kun. Now you began, Kakashi, looking at the remaining enemy, but the masked swordsman cut him off with a fury of seals. Suetun, grand waterfall, a deluge of unstopping water flew from his impossible wide mouth. They could not avoid it. Kakashi, Sasuke and Naruto glued their feet to the ground with Chakra, withstanding the water assault. Haku, unconscious, and Sakura, exhausted, were swept from the bridge. Sakura groaned as reality dawned on her. She was feeling cold and numb and wet and painful, and wasn't she fighting just moments ago? She opened her eyes to see a wet boy at her side getting up painfully. She forced her limb to move and got back up, a kunai ready. Hyuin, groaned the boy. Yeah, me too, agreed Sakura, smiling. It was fun to see an ice user freeze. Seemed he haven't seen her yet. He slowly got a saban from behind his back and put it in front of him. He peeled off the rest of his useless mask. Wow. He's cute, she could not stop to think. This would not stop her to stab his heart if the need be. Zabuza the bridge, mumbled Haku. He turned his head carefully, looking up at the bridge where faint battle noises could be heard. He broke in a run, climbing the steep sand hill that led it from the beach to the mainland. Sakura followed, running behind him to cut any escape route. She didn't have to bother though, as the unmasked Nin was going straight for the bridge. Sakura, even with her newly developed speed and stamina, could not compete with the fear that gripped Haku's mind. He ran on the bridge, not caring of the villagers that sent him dark look, unable to stop him. He absently noticed a lack of corrosive fog, probably dissipated by the water attack, but he stopped dead in his track at the next sight. The ones called Naruto and Sasuke were grabbing Zabuza's arms on each side, keeping him from struggling, while the one called Kakashi had his arm through his chest. No. No. No! Zabuza-sama. At the shout, the 3 murderer ninja let the body fall to the floor. Haku was spread on his chest the next moment. No! Na-na-na-na. Zabuza-sama, please. The demon of the mist opened unblinking eyes toward the child he raised and cared for the last 9 years or so. Useless tool. Then he was gone. Haku was in shock. He absently took a kunai that lay there and directed a stab right at his throat. His death wish was not to be granted that day. A hand caught the sharp blade, at the risk of losing a few fingers. It pulled the weapon roughly out of his hand. Naruto wiped his own blood off the knife and hanged it with the others at his belt. You are not to die, Haku-san. You do not have the right at the moment. Why? Plead the boy from the ground. Because Zabuza-san left you with a burden, a debt to be repaid. Him being dead just added to it. You'll have to make it up for him. For that, you'll have to live unless you want Zabuza's honor and soul to be left dirted and soiled in a way that even hell cannot punish. What debt? Said Haku, in a soft, creaking voice. He just wanted to join his master, his bet. He gave his word that he and you would retreat if you lost your fight. You were bound by his oath. He broke it when seeing your uncontested loss when he tried to harm the incoming civilians. We are ninja, even if we become mercenary or murderers. We stay true to our village or to our belief. We always stay ninja and our word is absolute. Zabuza went over it. You need to pay his debt, or this bad karma will follow you and him into the next world, into your next life. So, from now on, you will follow me. You will obey my command as I take responsibility of you in the eye of my village. My first order is to live. My second is to follow me. Now, Naruto turned his back on him and started walking. Kakashi frowned heavily. He didn't like it at all. He would have a word with his student about taking too much initiative. The villagers, seeing them victorious, cheered loudly. Some were curious as to why an enemy was still alive, but since he was now following the blonde ninja 2 step behind him, head lowered, they didn't ask about it. Haku didn't even question why he was following that boy there. He was used to follow orders after all. Tazuna came as Kakashi prepared seals for a wind jutsu that would dissipate the remaining fog. That's fantastic. Now we have nothing else to fear from. The wind cleared the bridge and showed the mass of man now blocking the end. Gato. Yes. It is me. I hoped that this useless tool would die, gloated the small pig of a man, in front of a crowd of hired thugs. Haku's hand twitched. But why is the other still alive, standing, and doing nothing? Traitor! Gato yelled. The fatty man walked with his cane, hitting the ground soundly. At least I won't have to pay his ridiculously high fee. That was the plan all along. I hope he managed to tire you enough. By your looks, you can all barely stand. Thank you, Tazuna, for this bridge. I will install pay tolls on each end for anyone who want to cross it. There will be taxes on goods to pay, and income taxes for the villagers too, for the building costs, of course. You haven't lay a dime for, began Tazuma. Silence. You will do as I say or my 100 men here will kill you with those pathetic tools. Haku twitched again. Haku? Said Naruto mildly. Yes, Naruto-sama? Haku asked, his voice low and steady. Your next order is to kill that scumbag. Haku raised his head, adorning a face that would have made Zabuza proud. With pleasure, Naruto-sama. Oh, and Haku? Yes? Very painfully please. Chakra swelled around Haku. He began to walk slowly toward Gato. The air got, for a second time that day, chilly in a way that did not comfort the fatty fat human pig. He walked back inside the rank of his goon for hire, shaking. KKK, kill him! A wave of human bloodlust started toward Haku. 5 steps later, they were all stopped in their tracks. The insane amount of killing intent radiating from the young boy rooted them all in place. Tools. His face contorted around his every word. You are the tools. Ice began creeping up their feet, and rapidly reached their knees. A ninja would have simply forced chakra in their feet and jumped out of there. They, as many as they were trapped. Gato had ice up to his thigh. His teeth were clattering, menacing to shatter. Haku walked right in the middle of the samurai wannabes and jumped lightly in the air to land forcefully, chakra leaping from his feet. This caused an incredible amount of water to fly high in the air. Haku made hand seals and said in a cruel, almost evilly sweet voice, secret skill, flying water needles. The next instant, 100 men fell face first on the ground, a needle in the middle of the forehead. No more kids game. Haku walked to Gato and looked at his pants. You managed to melt some of the ice with that P-release attack of yours. Impressive. I can't have you escaping like that. I'll have to rip off that weapon. Naruto wasn't so sure anymore that it was a good idea to tell him that last order. He did his best to cover Inari's eyes and ears with his hands. We'll never thank you enough. Tazuna was shaking hand with each member of Team 7, taking great care to avoid looking at Haku, a few feet behind. Of course, your Hokage will receive payment for the correct ranking of this mission, but I can't settle for only that. We are torn between the name the Great Team 7 Bridge or the Great Sakura Bridge in the honor of that decisive battle. Naruto looked at a blushing Kunoichi. He apologized silently. He could not let this opportunity pass. Tazuna-san, this bridge will outlive you or me. Why not give it a name to fit this place? There is fog so often here, why not call it the Bridge of the Fallen Mist? At that, Haku snapped his head up. Tears swelled in his eyes. This startled and surprised Tazuna a little. He just couldn't understand. Well, it does sound really good. I never knew you ninja had so much poetry in you. We are good with words and hiding things in them. Often, the true sense is lost to the common man. Yes, well, the Bridge of the Fallen Mist it is. At this, they turned around and waved goodbye to the villagers. A dumbstruck Haku followed Naruto blindly, not caring if he was heading in a raging volcano. Naruto, what is all this about? Asked the Jonin instructor, more curious than upset. Kakashi-sensei, Haku is a fine guy. I can feel it. He fit a load more the leaf standard than the mist one. I had his obedience. I, on top of honoring the memory of a worthy adversary, just got his gratefulness. I see. But what do you intend to get out of all this? For the village? A worthy ninja and one less kill. Personally? The secret to one-handed seals and ice jutsus. We, at the Fire Country, are very poor in that. Was that all planned too? More like improvised when I saw him trying to commit suicide. Haku suddenly stopped. They were near the first encounter spot with Zabuza, just past the lake. He looked left, then right, put his finger in his mouth and whistled. Kakashi frowned. Naruto just crossed his arms. It went on for about 5 minutes. Then, the bushes rustled and a snowy rabbit jumped out of it. Haku took it in his arms protectively, and turned toward them, his face buried in the white, furry ball. Sasuke let out a humph. Naruto raised his shoulder once, Kakashi's sweat dropped and Sakura clamped her hands together, stars in her eyes at the sigh of the fluffy bunny. I hope this won't bury inner Sakura, mumbled Sasuke. Getting back on the road, Naruto resumed his discussion with Kakashi. The funny thing is, before he went to try to end his life, I was ready to kill him myself as an enemy ninja. It's only when he went to do it himself that I intervene. You'll have to explain that to the Hokage. Right. Who do you think I got my merciful side from? The trip back to Konoha was uneventful. Sakura was on her high from her first real combat a while ago, but she was trying her best to rein it in. Before getting in the village, she asked Sasuke for a sparring session to burn off some residual energy. He looked at her and told her to go and see Naruto for that problem. Why? Why sparring with him would be better than fighting you? She asked, a little bit frustrated at his brushing off. She wasn't acting fangirl-like. Sasuke almost twitched at the supposition. Almost. Sparring or fighting or running around is not the problem. You've got after-fight jitters. I never had that, but Naruto did. He can help you better than I. So, she went to Naruto. He told her to wait for the next break, the last before entering the village. Once they stopped, he made her sit down. She did so, tapping her fingers against the ground. Stop moving, totally, he ordered her. I can't. He threw a kunai so close to her beating fingers she feel the earth beneath it move. Eep. She was shaking a little, but otherwise she was still as a rock. I could spar with you until exhaustion. But what if you get in a situation where you can't do that? The pent-up energy will distract you. It will cloud your judgment. If you start spending all your leftover energy after fighting, you will continually tire your body and that will weaken you. You have to bottle up that energy until the next use you'll have for it. You must not spend it, dissipate it, or ignore it. This is a little like meditation, but it is not. You have to look within and find your center. It is easy enough. That's where we have that pit feeling where we mold our chakra. Try. Sakura closed her eyes and breathed deeply. Try to mold some chakra, but just a little. Then corner its form. Got it. You have it? I see it. Good. Then imagine yourself surrounded by all that excess energy you have to stock away. Imagine it surrounding you, just over your skin, and then suck it up inside the mixer. He waited a while. Sakura did exactly as he said. She had to do it a little at the time. She felt it would not be good to push it there all at once. The very moment she finished, she heard Naruto speak. You see? That wasn't so hard. How did you know I was done? Your energy was really surrounding you. You had a pretty light blue glow all around you. When it was totally gone, I knew you were done. Thanks, Naruto. No problem. I had that issue too. I guess it's the sign of a hot-tempered personality. I've never been like this before, frowned Sakura. Meh. You're evolving, said Naruto, shrugging. Things with the Hokage went pretty much as Naruto predicted. The old men put Haku under his responsibility. It was decided that he would stay in the Uchiha compound and would get used to the life of this village before deciding what he would do next. At this, Haku mumbled, head low, anything that Naruto-sama decide. Naruto scratched the back of his head, perplexed, and Sarutobi smiled. Then you will turn out just fine. The Hokage gave them a few days vacations to rest from the A-rank mission it became, and told them that their paycheck would be given as soon as Tazuna sent the money. Kakashi saluted his student out of the Kage Tower, giving them their days off to rest instead than to train. Sasuke turned toward Naruto. Ramen? He asked. Actually, I'm more in the mood for barbecue, pondered Naruto. Are you feeling well? Asked Sakura, beginning to know her teammate's fascination for the noodles. For lunch. Ramens are for dinner, finished the blonde, nodding. The best for last, and dragged the taste to sleep. I should have guessed. Come on, Sakura, my treat, said Sasuke offhandedly. Really, Sasuke? She said, getting her hopes up. Yeah. That's the reward for that kick-ass fight with Haku. He's no pushover. You did well. Actually, if he would have targeted my vital parts from the start in the field of ice mirror, I would be long dead. Is that so? Sasuke said, turning toward Haku, who avoided his stare. They entered Choji's favorite restaurant, took a free table, and asked for enough meat to roll them all under the table. Team 7 indulged happily, the regime at Tazuna's being rather plain. This time, Naruto actually took the time to chew. The meat had to be cooked well after all, as he wasn't a fan of raw meat. Seeing Haku not taking a bite, Sasuke pushed a plate of meat in his direction. Eat. We don't want you to collapse. Not until I earn my share, Haku protested, shaking his head. Don't make me turn this in an order from Naruto, threatened the Uchiha. Haku glanced fleetingly at Naruto, sitting at his side, who was looking at him from the corner of his eyes. Haku put some pieces of meat on the heating plate at once and concentrated very hard on their cooking. Discussion resumed around the table. The waiter came back to see them. Everything is fine? What a cute rabbit. Did you bring it here to be cooked? He asked with a chuckle. No. The shout made the poor guy jump back and fall on the floor. Haku didn't know where to put himself after this outburst, but his hold on the rabbit tightened. Haku, Naruto said, putting a hand on his arm. Don't worry, that was a joke. Nobody's gonna hurt your buddy. Waiter? Could you bring some vegetable for our fluffy friend? Yes. I'm sorry, really. I didn't mean to upset you. No harm done. We're fine. Bring more water. Thanks, said Sasuke, giving something to do to the scared waiter. The guy almost ran to the kitchen. They were in a barbecue restaurant, but hell would freeze if he didn't find any vegetables. Naruto still had his arm on Haku's. You must have had a hard life, Naruto said calmly. Don't worry. We value every life here. Even the rabbits. By then, Haku was embarrassed. He simply nodded and got his cooked meat out of the grill. Why did he feel like crying? Why were those strangers so nice to him? The blonde told him he was going to pay off Zabuza's debt, but he felt he was only getting more and more deeds toward them. Toward him. He didn't trust his own voice, but he had to ask. Naruto-sama, if you keep using the honorific, I'm really going to buy myself some land, build a mansion, hire servants and drink sake all day long, droned Naruto automatically. Naruto-san, restarted Haku, getting the message. Why are you doing all this for me? We were, a few days ago, death enemies. I lost to your teammate. Whatever she say, it was my own weakness that made me lose. Weakness? Asked Naruto, looking a bit angry for the first time. To value life? You are not too weak to kill people, Haku. It's just that your natural personality can't bear to kill an innocent, someone good. I remember you killing 100 men in the blink of an eye. And then another one, where it was better to keep our eyes shut the entire time. You gave me a home. Haku pleaded, as if this was all a mistake. I'm part of a village. You made sure I was safe, you gave me food, almost forcing me to eat, in fact. How am I paying Zabuza's debt exactly? Tell me. Naruto stacked a piece of beef, chicken, buffalo and pork and put the breadless sandwich to his mouth. You should try this, Haku-kun, this is divine. As for your question, you're welcome. Because that's what you were doing, thanking me. Don't worry about paying Zabuza's debt, I've got things planned out for you, all in due time. But first, you've got to get a life. I think that's what your old master would have liked deep down. You will begin to do, little by little, things on your own for yourself. You will take your life in hand. I have things I want from you. Don't worry about that. For now you will eat. You will sleep. You will mourn your master. Take a break and then your life will go on. Any questions? Haku shook his head, in stupor. Good. Watch your meat, it's going to burn. Haku reached for his food from the grill and hissing noises could be heard where his tears fell on the heating plate. He stared at the food standing ready to eat before him but could not stand it any longer. He threw his head on the younger boy's shoulder and soundlessly cried. Naruto let him be, acting as if nothing was happening. So, Sakura, any insight about your training after your first real fight? Sasuke said distractingly. Oh. Yes, Sasuke-kun. I think I'll need to. Conversation started again, punctuated by a light sob now and then, Naruto eating and patting Haku's shoulder. The waiter came and went silently, giving the rabbit his salad. The break from the missions eventually passed. Sakura resumed training eagerly. She was getting hooked to the feeling of progress. Sasuke and Naruto were holding back a lot less, since they showed a lot of their real strength against Zabuza. Sakura knew she was way behind them but she had no idea how much before. Naruto was currently strolling in the commercial district, getting back from the ninja section of the shops where he could find the seal master merchant. The old ninja made a living off of selling seals furniture, explosive notes, sealing scrolls and, the reason of Naruto's visits, customized seals. Theses were much more expensive but with the Uchiha fortune, he really could afford it. The one he was the most interested in were the heavyweight seals, like the ones Lee had beneath his leg warmer. It was due time to get new ones if Sasuke and him were able to kill Chunin-level ninjas from a kick in the ass. Sakura too would get hers and he even took some for Haku, just in case. The quiet boy was more into housekeeping right now, having claimed all of the cleaning duties around the house as he got in. Not that it was that dirty. Every nick and cranny were cleaned and shined in the house he shared with Naruto and Sasuke. The rooms were the last thing that they would be short of. He was taking care of the meals, the usual groceries and the laundry. And the drinks he brought during their training session were always chilled. Naruto could get used to that kind of life easily. He understood why high-ranking officials always had an assistant for the more menial task. It was so much time freed from more important things. Haku even made a memento in the garden in the honor of Zabuza. Still, Naruto knew that in his mind, the Bridge of Fallen Mist would always be Zabuza's shrine. As he was strolling around, he saw a local farm stand. Fresh milk sounded really good right now. He guessed a little stop would not hurt. As he approached, the middle-aged saleslady recognized him. The Uzumaki Uchiha brother. Welcome to my humble stand. How can I serve you today? I'd like a pint of your fresh milk, please. It's always the best. Naruto complimented, winking. Oh my. Be careful not to ask that to any ladies, some would take offense. She said, laughing at her own joke. He would probably understand it years later. You never minded giving me your milk before, young lady, said Naruto, eyelids half closed. Then again, maybe sooner. The woman knew when she was beaten. She tried hiding her blush by getting a fresh pint of the said beverage from under the counter. By the way, she said, eager to change subject, the ninja business must really flourish for you. Got any paying mission lately? Why, yes. We got just back from one. How did you know? Asked Naruto, truly curious. Well, the merchant district here is a really tight-knit group. We all took note of that new maid you hired, said the saleslady. Who? Oh. Haku. You're mistaken. We didn't hire Haku. Don't be so modest. You made a fine choice. She's such a nice girl. By then Naruto had the time to open the milk bottle and take a swig. He shouldn't have. By the end of the woman's sentence, the content of his mouth was forcefully expelled over the counter, right next to the woman. Cough cough what? Cough gasp girl? Haku's not a girl. Don't try that with me, said the middle-aged woman, tapping his wrist. Just be respectful. She seems to have so much admiration for you. I'm sure you'll be a gentleman and will not abuse of this situation. You know, things can get through a boy's head and you're coming at that age where… Please stop. First of all, Haku's really not a girl. Believe me. He's a ninja we fought at our last mission and his master died in the process. Since he was about to commit his last kill on his own person, I stopped him and got him to follow me. He's got a debt of honor to fill for his master. I'll admit he's very feminine, but he's a guy for sure, but that yukatashi he wears all the time seems so… Yeah, I know. He's got a white pet bunny too. So what? He's a guy. Make sure to tell the rest of the merchants. I should expect things like this to come from our training with Sakura, not with Haku. Is there anything to say about your training with Sakura-chan? Asked the saleswoman, looking suspicious. Naruto looked at the woman hard. She really wanted some gossip. Thank gods he didn't live in the same world as her. It would drive him insane. Yes, there is. She'll be kicking all the boys' asses in no time. Gotta go. Bye. Naruto swore to himself to let all the shopping to Haku from now on. Well then, Kakashi-kun, said a smiling Hokage, your teams seem to handle difficult missions quite well. We'll start giving more of that kind of missions to sharpen their skills. Here, I've got an urgency rank for you today. The Hokage handed the scroll to Kakashi's extended hand. The Jonin unsealed it and began to read under the impatient eye of his team. It would be their first mission since the Bridge of the Fallen Mist mission. They would have to learn that every mission can't be as exciting as that. Lots of them were annoying to no end where you can, as an example, protect an important lord, organize tight security, and wait all day for an aggressor that will never show itself. Still, the lord will pay and you'll get back to the village, your job done. We've got to take a great bunch of documents to the next city bank for the accountants to calculate Konoha's income this year. Wow. Even I could get overexcited with this, Hokage-sama. Can't expect exciting mission every time, Kakashi-san, shrugged the old man. Too bad for Kakashi who never learned, nor liked that lesson. After all, even the D-rank missions with his students were fun. The brothers always had this way to turn things interesting. Let's hope they could pull it off this time too. So much wasted potential. Let's do this, guys. We have to get the documents at the reception. The faster we end this, the faster we can get to do something else, almost yawned Kakashi. Hi, sensei, they answered in harmony, all at the ready. The Hokage was impressed at the discipline they got over one serious mission. Once out of the office, Sakura turned to Kakashi. You think he bought it? Kakashi made his best smiling eyes. You all looked very professional. With any luck, it'll get us an upper C-rank mission or a B-rank next time. They got to the receptionist who was glad to drop the documents on them. It was blocking most the desk and he could not see people getting in over them, even when he was standing. There was quite a lot of paperwork. They all took their share. By all, I mean Sakura, Naruto and Sasuke while Kakashi got his book out. They wrapped the documents in tight blankets and tied them securely on their back. They walked to the gates and took off to the trees at a good speed. They were as well to get some training with this. Hours passed in dull monotony, until Sakura noticed people in the bushes further ahead. Hey, do you think those are thieves? She asked. Probably brigands, corrected Sasuke, as they were not looking subtle enough to be simple thieves. We'll just pass over them. They might not even notice us. You're not going to do anything, sensei? Asked Sakura, turning to him. They are not part of the mission, Sakura-chan. You have to learn not to go overboard. Isn't it our duty to make the roads to Konoha safe? She insisted. What if a future customer get ambushed? Fine, he said, rolling his eyes. We'll disable them and tell the authorities in the mission's town. Happy? Yes. Thank you, sensei. The poor guys never knew what hit them. Well, they did, but later. All they saw was a flash of green, black, blue and pink come across them. They were, for the most of them, kicked, punched on the head or fell under a sleeping genjutsu. Nothing else bothered the mission. They delivered the documents, told the authorities about the brigand pack piled in the forest, and got back. As they passed over them on the way home, they noticed some of them coming back to their senses. Just for the fun of it, they punched them back to unconsciousness. It was a great stress outlet. A few days later, Hatake Kakashi was standing in the Hokage office, waiting for the big news. As you all know, the biannual Chunin exam is getting near. This time, it will be hosted in Konoha. Now that was big news. It's been a while, so register your team with care. The probability of death is very real, reminded the old man, his face as serious as it could be. I enter Team 8, said Kurenai, lifting her hand. I enter Team 10, said Asuma in turn. I enter Team 7, drawled Kakashi. Iruka was gobsmacked. Are you all out of your minds? We just told you there were probability of death. He shouted to the Jonin instructors. Kurenai and Asuma smirked. Good old overprotective Iruka. Don't worry, waved off Asuma. They are strong enough to get through this and smart enough to quit before it's too late. This will be a chance for them to test themselves against ninjas from other villages in a controlled environment. It's gonna be a good experience for them, and training. As for my students, began Kakashi, let's just say they were holding back at the academy. A lot. That surprised them. How much so, Kakashi-kun? asked the Hokage. Well enough to be able to beat Momochi Zabuza of the Mist without my help, he said, smirking under his mask. That sent a few jaws on the floor. The janitor would not be happy. He was Jonin level. Almost shouted Asuma. Not a Konoha's Jonin, Kakashi pointed, raising a finger. Yes, he was, replied Kurenai. We're not all Exumbu captain like some. I am confident they will not only get through the exam but pass it with flying colors, stated Kakashi, getting back on track. That sent their mind reeling. Hatake Kakashi, who never passed a team before, just told them his 3 students would pass the Genin test a mere 4 months after graduating without a hint of a doubt. Asuma started to chuckle. He turned back toward the exit. Well then, tell your students to watch out for my team, he said quietly. To watch out for your team or to watch after them? Asked Kakashi, enjoying this way too much. Asuma paused his walk a moment before answering, his back turned. Both. I'll make the message Asuma-kun, answered Kakashi with his infuriating smiling eyes. Damn him and his strong team. Kurenai turned toward Kakashi, serious. They really beat a Jonin without your help? She asked. Kakashi sighed. No secrets toward fellow Jonin and the Hokage. Even for his students. It was like an unwritten rule. Sakura isn't ready to become Chunin yet, but this will make her grow. Naruto and Sasuke are already Chunin level and may have been for a while. In fact, they have the mentality to be Jonin level. They only need some more power and experience if they aren't hiding even more from me, that is, which I guess they may be. Soon enough, I'll get back as an Umbu with those 2 at my side. I'm impatient for this. Sorry, Iruka, D-rank time is over for them. Iruka resigned, accepting the Jonin words. Naruto was aimlessly strolling in town, Sasuke and Sakura at his side. He felt great. They were well on their way to become Chunin, their first step. He mused about his life. He had a brother, friends, good teachers and a peaceful hidden village. His past was dark but his future was bright. Even with the staining goal to kill Itachi, that was important and to never forget, but he would not stop that to live his life to its fullest, like now. A group of small children were playing ninja. He chuckled, looking at them pass. Like cub lions that fight harmlessly among themselves, they were preparing for the true hunts of tomorrow. Then they heard shouts. They turned the corner to see one of the kid, hanging by his collar, at the hand of a Sannin if he was to believe the forehead protector. You little runt. Watch where you're running or you might find an unpleasant death, he snarled. If you keep menacing an harmless child in a village where you are guests, the same thing might happen to you, Naruto said, slowly walking up. The makeup-painted face of the ninja lifted toward the blonde boy who just talked. Really? And who will give me that unpleasant death, pray tell? It's going to be me if you don't stop now, Kankuro, said a voice from a tree branch. Gaara. I sorry. He ran into me and tried to explain the dark-clad boy. Drop it. Don't make me repeat myself, said the boy, standing high from the ground. His dark-rimmed eyes didn't left Naruto though. The one named Kankuro let the boy fall on the ground, who scrammed behind Naruto. I heard there was a strong duel, the Uchiha brothers, said the raccoon boy without hesitation. You are one of them. What's your name? Uzumaki Naruto. I'm one of the Uchiha brothers. Gaara lifted an eyebrow. And where is the other? Naruto smiled. Right above you. At the moment where Gaara lifted his head up, Sasuke unfolded his leg, hanging down a branch over Gaara's head. They ended up their nose almost touching. The Sannin's eyes widened. Sand poured out of his gourd to attack, but the hasty move was deflected by an outburst of chakra from Sasuke. He let the gravity do its work and let go of the branch. He landed on his feet, his hands never leaving his pockets. Sasuke walked at Naruto's side. Gaara's eyes locked on Naruto's blue pool. Sakura got closer to him instinctively, like the 3 little children. They would not approach you if they knew about you, Gaara said barely above a whisper. Naruto felt quite uncomfortable. Something with this guy felt just wrong. If they knew about what? The bijou? Of course they know, he stated as if it was a given. Now Gaara uncrossed his arms and looked at him, unbelieving. How can they stay so close to you? How could that be possible when he said before realizing he said too much. He grabbed one side of his head as he seemed struck by a headache. Naruto understood fast. That's what it was all about. I'll kill you, Uzumaki. I'll kill you and there will be nothing left of you to bury, threatened the Sannin. Try me. You've got nothing over me, Naruto challenged him. Gaara was surrounded himself with sand and disappeared. Naruto let out a breath as the 2 other Sans ninjas left, searching for their psychotic teammate. Naruto got down at the little boy's level. What's your name? He asked softly. Konohamaru, said the boy with some hesitation. You should be proud of your name. It holds a responsibility, as people will judge our village after you. Don't let what happened scare you, that or anything else for the matter. Even less when the menace is a foreign ninja. Did I look scared? The boy shook his head, a shine in his eyes that vaguely remembered something to Naruto. I wasn't scared for one reason, because I'm strong. I listened to my teacher and I trained hard every day. You can get strong too. Never let anybody tell you something is impossible. By trying your best, you may find something even better than what you were searching for. Never forget to have fun and live too. Nobody expect you to go on mission right now. And prank Iruka now and then. I don't have the opportunities to do it anymore, and he might get bored, Naruto finished with a wink. Then he stood up and patted the little boy on the shoulder. He turned back and resumed his stroll with his teammates at his sides. Konohamaru was in awe at the blonde. Usually, people patted him on the head, like some small kid. He was so cool, he said once the blonde was out of earshot. He sure was. And cute too, said his young female friend. He never seemed nervous, even outnumbered 3-1. He's courageous, added the third child, not always menacing to run down his nose. We'll train hard, and if I can get as good as him, I'll become Hokage for sure. Until then, we have something to do. What? Prank Iruka-sensei. Back in a classroom at the academy, Iruka was correcting papers. He suddenly sneezed and shivered in the same time. This can't be good. Gaara reappeared on a rooftop, a little bit further. He clutched the left side of his face with one hand. His pupils were threatening to turn a yellowish gold. How can they all accept him? He's going to die. I'm going to rip off his limb one by one very slowly. Gaara only got his mind back at the price of great efforts. Then, he began to plan. We will what? Asked Naruto. Train. For the next week before the Chunin exam, answered Kakashi. Sasuke and Naruto looked at themselves. And it will change from usual in what? Asked Naruto, confused. Kakashi brought them out in the woods after explaining them that he entered them in the Chunin exam. He hid nothing to them, from the danger to their chances to pass. Sakura was determined to prove him wrong. They knew they had little time, and they wanted to make the most of it. It will be different in the fact that I will train you closely instead of letting you train by yourselves. Believe me, after this, you'll wish you'd be Gai-san's students. The week passed in a flash for some, in slow motion for others. It all depends of how many hours of sleep your sensei allow you to take. Team 7 entered the building after ignoring Kakashi, who was waving a tissue at them, almost sobbing. He was so proud. His little team was getting all grown up. The Genin's members of the team were in a more murderous mindset after the hell that had been last week. They were devising painful ends for some Ashford Cyclops. They climbed a flight of stairs and passed indifferently a crowd that had the access of a room denied. A room that was so obviously under a genjutsu it almost got them a smile. Almost. Their lips were just too tired to move up. Where do you think you're going? Asked one of the Chunin bully. Don't you want to undertake the exam? You'll have to pass us first. No thanks, answered Sasuke. We don't need to go to the bathroom before the Genin's exam, unless there is a urine test involved. We'll just go to the second floor directly. They went about, not caring of the confused Genins behind. They got in the exam waiting room and waited. There was a lot of foreign ninja. Get away, forehead girl. You monopolized Sasuke-kun long enough, was the first greeting they had. Sasuke-kun. How are you doing? Did this pink-haired klutz make you protect her all the way into missions? I bet she's so useless you should have ended up with me instead. Chirped Ino cheerfully. Shut it, annoying girl. If you want to talk, keep your tone, pitch of voice and insults to my teammates low. If not, I'll silence you myself, Sasuke growled with menace. Ino was more than a little taken aback by the hostility in his voice. She was used to being ignored or told off, but this, don't mind him, Ino-chan, comforted Naruto sleepily. He's cranky because of lack of sleep this past week. I can relate, as can Sakura, since we all had special team training. Special training from your lazy teacher? Yash! Burn my fellow ninja in the lava-hot fire of began another Genin entering the room. Lee. Same thing then for Ino. Keep it down, growled back Sasuke. Yash! If I can't tone it down, I will have to shut up an entire week, proposed Naruto hastily. Try and listen to the wind, Lee. I bet you haven't heard it in many years. See it as part of your training, as a sensory enhancer. Try it. Start now. Naruto seemed a little too enthusiastic in his proposition, but Lee, fire in his eyes, took a roll of duct tape and covered his mouth with 3 turns of the adhesive around his head. Yay, training. I knew you mentioned special training, Naruto-kun? Asked Hinata, joining the group. Ha! It can't be that great, Hinata, barked Kiba. I don't know, rebuked Niji. Kakashi-san is a reputed jonin. Said Shino. Crunch, crunch, yam, said Choji. Anything to do with weapons? Asked an interested Tenten. Not quite, answered Sakura. More like to climb something without using your leg at all, said Naruto. Move a rock with techniques that we already know, never touching it, added Sasuke. Stand upside down on a finger on top of a hot cup of tea without breaking it, remembered Sakura. Recite the 24 ninjas credo, kept on Naruto. While running, Sakura remembered him. That's not so hard, interrupted Ino. Around a waterfall, specified Sasuke. Still, said Ino, not seeing the problem. Synchronized with each other by reading on his lips, Sakura said, nodding. Well, yeah. 8 hours long, Naruto said in turn. During the night. Without sleeping before or after. With weights. And with sensei throwing us rocks. And, okay. We get it. Yelled Ino, tired to see the 3 Genin throw themselves the ball. The 3 from Team 7 looked at themselves. Talking about it like this almost make it look worse than it really was. Almost. You might want to keep it down. There are people here nervous enough as they are, an older Leaf Nin said while approaching them. We keep telling them, shrugged Sasuke. The first man to talk was a little taller than them and wore spectacles. Hi. I'm Kabuto. If you need anything, just ask. If you want to know about past exams or the people who are in it right now, I can help you. We've got to keep together as Leaf Ninjas. I've got cards about pretty much everyone here. It's my 7th time taking the exam. 7th? You're so lame. That was Kiba, alright. As tactful as ever, Kiba, you're only 6 failures behind him. That's only 3 years, Naruto said. You mean 7 failures, frowned Kiba, falling head first in the trap. At the level I see you right now, you can already count this one. Why you, he began, a fist shaking. Anything on a guy named Gaara? Asked Sasuke. Kabuto took a card from his deck, made it rotate around his index, and put Chakra on it at the same time. The card poof fed and writing appeared on it, showing the stats of Gaara of the Sand. There was not much. Let's see his first Chunin exam, many C ranked, B ranked mission, and 1 A ranked. An A ranked? Kiba was struck speechless. Thanks, Kami, no big deal. We did 1 too, huffed Naruto. Now everyone was looking at Naruto as if he'd grown another head. What? Can't you brat all shut up? No little punks can become Chunin anyway, so just bug off. With that, the rude ninja, who was wearing a forehead protector with a musical note on it, sent a punch toward Kabuto to prove his point. Kabuto evaded it, quite easily, smirking. Then his glasses broke and he fell to the ground, blood coming out of his mouth. The attacking ninja didn't have time to finish what he started. That Naruto was in front of him, a kunai on his throat. Sasuke was standing behind him, a kunai pointing between his shoulders. They were locked in that position, no one moving, until the offender's teammates came to rescue the hot-headed man. One of them turned towards Sasuke, very polite. Excuse us for this. Our teammate can be very impulsive. Naruto was about to let a snide comment, but Sasuke beat him to it this time. Keep your dog under leash or we'll castrate him. Before the euthanasia, he snapped. The targeted man tried to reply, but one cold look from the Ice Prince was enough to shut him up and send him his way. Sasuke-kun. That was so cool. Kudino, though I told you to keep it down. Better yet, keep it to yourself, Sasuke snarled, his patience way past his limits. Sasuke. That was mean. Sakura chastised him. It was saddening for her to see her friend treated like that. I'm in no better mood than 10 minutes ago, before I learned that the guy who seemed to have taken an interest in Aniki and I did a A-rank mission like us. Deal with it. Okay, you scumbags. No fighting, yelled a voice from the other side of the room. Except if you want to be expelled. Don't worry, there will be enough opportunities for that later. Now come over here, the exam is about to begin. Everybody went in the classroom under the watching eye of a bandana head-covered jonin. The class filled up quickly, each of them being assigned a place. Once they were all seated, Ibiki smiled predatory. The first part of this Chunin exam is a paper test. A paper test? Origami? Yup, that was Naruto. A couple of Leaf Nin actually chuckled, but most of the ninja just groaned in annoyance. Very clever. You have an hour to finish the paper set before you. The last question will be asked in the last 15 minutes. You're caught cheating? You lose 5 points out of 15. After 3 times, you're out of here. Have fun! The class overturned their papers and some groaned again. The questions were hard. Some started looking left and right. Some were scribbling like mad. Sakura took her time and answered every question. Sasuke and Naruto gave themselves an imperceptible nod. Sasuke sat back and waited. It was better for him not to use his Sharingan eyes and keep it a surprise for the real fighting. Nobody knew if he activated it or not. Most of them may never have heard of it. Still, the element of surprise must never be underestimated. Naruto wanted to grin like a man. It's been a while I wanted to use this. He had to choose someone to copy from. Sakura would have been the easy answer, but she was far from him. Instead, Hinata was right beside him. It would be so obvious to simply lean toward her. They would probably take his 3 strikes from such an obvious technique. He waited a few minutes until he saw her writing near the end of her paper from the corner of his eye. That would be fun. Incredibly complicated, but fun. Naruto put his left hand on his forehead, as if concentrating on reading a question, and put the other on the desk, palm down. Then he let an incredibly thin trickle of chakra flow from the center of his palm. It swelled in the desk, following the easiest path it could in the fibers of the wood. It crossed the way all over to Hinata's portion of the desk and pooled under Hinata's paper. Now for the tricky part. The chakra went through the desk and in Hinata's sheet. Since it was paper thin, it was not even visible. It covered every millimeter of the now completely answered sheet. His hand left his forehead and touched his own sheet. The jutsu was made to replicate anything it was totally covering in length, width, and thickness. Even Hinata's Byakugan would have trouble to see more than a light hue over her sheet, and would pass right over the chakra wire. He superposed a chakra copy over his own sheet. The paper test was exactly the same from one to another, so the only thing that was visible over his own sheet was the answers, written in chakra letters. He made them glow so softly that he almost had to squint his eyes to see them. He concentrated not to, or it would look suspicious. While he wrote down his answers, he mouthed them discreetly. Sasuke didn't miss a thing. Compared to the waterfall exercise, that was nothing. Once he was finished, Naruto let the jutsu dispel itself quietly. He relaxed, waiting for the last question to come. Must be a hard one, but it didn't matter much. He felt ready. Time went by slowly. Naruto had long understood that the examiners were not there to catch anyone cheating but to evaluate how good they were at it. A lot of them must have been really clumsy since people were called out left and right. The room got clearer. Some tried to simply look at their neighbors. Come on! At least use mirrors like Tenten, a puppet like the Sand Guy, a family bloodline like the two Hyuga or Ino. To say that Ino was making it proved how bad the others must have been. Ouch, that was a harsh one, even if quite realistic. On the other hand, it didn't bother Naruto how many would pass or fail. Yes, it was based on a competitive elimination selection, but it was to evaluate yourself individually too. 10 or 100 he didn't care. Only the ones with the necessary skills would become Chunin. The FIS 45 minutes are up, class, told the man joyfully. He took way too much pleasure torturing people. And here comes the final question. Before I ask, I have to tell you the special rule for that particular question. Anyone who chooses to answer this one and get it wrong will be forbidden to take on the Chunin exam ever again. You'll stay at Genin forever. If you choose to quit now, you'll be able to take the next test, but you and your team will have to go. Think about this carefully. Make up your choice now. You don't have much time to decide. Who's leaving? I do. The man in his mid-20s left without looking back. His teammate followed him, head low. Many other left. Anybody else? There was a moment of silence before another team got up and left. Now anybody else? You're all making the people with real abilities lose their time. No one else? Naruto was glad for at least one thing. The least people there was left, the less time it would take to get through this. The waiting was killing him. Could they get the last question already? Then, you all pass! Exclaimed the Jonin, grinning. That got him out of his reverie. They passed? Wasn't it too easy? Ibiki explained about the guts needed at taking such a decisions. He showed his bald, scared head, remembering what a bad decision, or hesitation, could cost. The decision you are going to take as Chunins, for those of you who pass, are going to affect your life and the ones of your teammate for the rest of their days. May them be physical or emotional scars, it's no laughing matters. He looked directly at Naruto saying that, maybe taking decisions now look easy, but that's because you haven't made a bad one yet. When it will happen, and it will, we'll see how strong you really are, if you live through it. Understand now that this is one of the most basic lessons to know to be a Chunin. As he finished explaining that, the windows exploded in shards from an incoming missile. Whoever that was, he wasn't afraid of testing the reflexes of an already stressed, borderline hostile, audience. For Kunai's pined a huge banner written "Ankle" over it. A young woman jumped in the class from the now shattered window and landed perfectly in the center of the class. Get ready for the second part of the Chunin exam, scums. I'm Anko and I'll be your next examiner. Nice, cheered Naruto. Could you do that again, miss, with pom-poms and a striped miniskirt? Oh, look like we have a jester among us, she said, grinning. She wiped a kunai so fast most people in the room didn't have the time to see it fly, but they all heard it land. She aimed to graze him so to cut his cheek a little and stick it the far wall. Instead, Naruto raised his hand and let the projectile get through it. It stuck there hard. Anko took a step back and winced. He wasn't supposed to do that. Now she just wounded a candidate of her own village, who's 12 years old, favorite of the Sandaime himself, prodigy of a wiped-out clan that hold one of the most powerful bloodline in Konoha. One of the kid that Kakashi implied he might hold his ground against her in combat. Oh yeah, that was a smart move. The probably not for so long. Genin raised from his seat and walked toward her calmly. He pulled out the weapon from his hand, a small wince from the corner of his mouth visible. He handed the weapon back to her and then got back at his place, without a word. Anko had a reputation to be a sadist. A sexy one? Still, she kept it to the injuries she gave others, not to herself. She knew about the Kyuubi, about Naruto the Uchiha prodigy. He didn't do anything to earn her respect before being the keyword. Still, she was a professional and had a job to do. Not to mention a face to keep. She might propose him a private lesson later, about the bird and the bees around a coffee on the table. Well, if we're quite done here, let's go the area number 44, the Forest of Death. Team 7 groaned in harmony, recognizing the place. On their way out of the room, Hinata and Neji stopped in front of Naruto. What's with the long face, Naruto? What do you know about that place? Asked his cousin. Knew anything to worry about, added Hinata. We had a 3-day survival trip in there last week and we were in no hurry to get back there, said Naruto. I felt strange all the time in there. Why so? Asked Neji, frowning. Usually, Naruto's guts instincts were the good thing to follow. I'm not sure. It's something that was pulling in my inside. Maybe the fox liked the place, and that's why I was so uncomfortable, he confided. Neji simply nodded. If he liked it, there must be a lot of twisted things growing and living there. We must be careful. All enthusiasm now gone, Team 7 stayed quiet while Anko delivered the instructions for that 5 days examination. Naruto went to take the scroll and then tossed it to Sasuke. He caught it deftly and hanged it on his belt for all to see. He wasn't scared of losing it or getting it stolen. In fact, he hoped they would try. It would attract teams to them with the opposite scroll and keep them from having to run around, searching for them. They got to their assigned gate and waited. They stood there, silent and annoyed. The exam was a little boring until now. They were impatient to get in a fight with someone from another village. Those sound thugs would be good target practice. The gates finally opened and they jumped in. They passed the first few row of trees when Sakura decided to ask about their next move. Do we lay down traps, go scroll hunting, or do we build up camp? Naruto, as usual, left the strategic side of the mission to Sasuke. He had a mind of his own, and would always tell what's on it, but he would usually abide by Sasuke's words, seeing the logic in them. We'll build our old camp up. Most others will try to get to the tower as fast as they can and start hunting. We'll rest, choose a place on the borderline of the forest, and then we'll go hunting. We just have to put up some more defenses before a few hours' sleep. They changed their course slightly, a destination now in mind. The forest was quite big. Even with 20 or so three-man teams, it would have been rather unlikely to meet someone. But had they not changed direction at that moment, they would have had a few unpleasant meetings. Naruto and his clones dove in the water. There, they caused so much chaos that the fish felt safer out of the stream and jumped out of the water. That feeling ended quite abruptly when kunais caught them in midair and pinned them against trees on the other side of the small river. Sasuke threw more kunais as other fishes didn't seem to learn from the fatal fate of their predecessors. Once they had enough for the next 2 days, Naruto got out of the water, feeling rather refreshed. We should try and find some herbs to smoke that in and roots to cook it with, Sasuke mused out loud. Yeah. And don't forget to take water in bags, Naruto answered with an afterthought. Way ahead of you. A Sasuke clone was gathering fresh water for drinking and cooking. They learned very fast, in only a 3-day span, how having food and water ready can be helpful. They got back by the riverside to their camp. They found a cave in the middle of a cliff that would be easy to defend and could provide safe resting. As they neared it, they saw Sakura finish to install hidden explosive notes all around the entrance. The only safe way to get in would be to jump exactly in the middle of the thin entrance. Inside, a very simple genjutsu showed only one way to go, leaning to the right. That path led to a dead end. If anybody walked in there, a boulder would fall behind them, blocking the only way out, and 30 or so explosive notes would detonate in the cramped space. The passage to the left, invisible to anybody who doesn't know of its existence, led to their camp. A fire pit and grass and straw beds were the only commodities. In the forest of death, that's as good as a 5-star mansion. They decided not to waste any moments. The hunt would start at sunset, when the most inexperienced team would start searching for a place to rest, their guard lowered. They ate some of the fish and slept until the sun touched the horizon. Then, the hunt began. Naruto was pissed. Not that slightly annoyed kind, but more like the swearing I'm gonna gut your inside out kinda pissed. He was presently trying not to get swallowed by a giant summoned snake. No reptile could get that big. No natural ones. He was in its mouth, keeping it open with his hands and feet, feeling its droll and venom sliding down his raised arms from the creature's 2-foot-long fangs. Enough is enough. Naruto jumped forward, inside the snake's mouth. As it closed on him, he drew a kunai and stabbed upward as much as he could. Even as small as he was, it was more than enough for the tool to pierce the inside of the creature, rip the muscles and cut the brain in half. The brain was not that big either. The attack was more than enough to dispel it, and send it back to the realm of the summoned beasts, alive or dead. Now that Naruto actually had the time to worry about it, this didn't bode well for his teammates. He knew of 2 snake users. One was Anko, the examiner of this very exam. The other was the missing Nin Orochimaru, and he was the one holding the snake contract. He probably was the only one able to summon the higher-level beasts. That was not good. Anko would not try to kill fellow leaf Nins, even the cocky ones. That meant that the snake Sannin was here to do what? Ruin a Chunin exam? There must be something more to this. Anyhow, he wasn't after the Kyuubi, or he would not have tried to push him away. That meant he was either after Sasuke or Sakura. He didn't fool himself at the probabilities. He ran back in the direction where the snake separated him from his team. He really hoped he had the worst adversary to face, but somehow, he knew it was just wishful thinking. Sakura was standing beside Sasuke, her weapon drawn. Even in this dire situation, she was glad to see that Sasuke trusted her, and that they could fight side by side. She just wished it was in a battle they had some hope of winning. The ninja in front of them held loosely 2 kunais in his hands. She wasn't that good yet at judging an adversary's strength, but she knew Sasuke was. Right now, he looked tensed and afraid. My Sasuke-kun. You grew up so strong. You outpass every prediction I had about you. That's very nice, said the unknown ninja mockingly. Who the fuck are you? Growled Sasuke. Sakura shivered. Sasuke just swore. He never swear. The situation was even worse than she thought. Me? I'm an exiled ninja, or rather I left this village quite a few years ago. I couldn't get any stronger while I stayed here. You should know by now how true power is not accepted. People tend to get scared of you once you show too much superior skills. They don't understand you. Then they end up trying to get rid of you. The keyword being trying, of course. Your brother, Itachi, was the same. What do you know of him? Have you met him? Asked Sasuke, guessing he could try to learn something out of this man while he was still in the talkative mood. Why, yes. We were part of the same private club, you might say. Until our points of view differed. I learned that you wanted to get even for what he did to your clan. I could give you the power you need, the man finished drawling. I don't follow strangers who offer candy to little kids, hissed Sasuke, figuring that fighting was inevitable. Too bad. I'll have to convince you then. The wave of raw killing intent left Sakura paralyzed. She saw her death so many times she didn't know if she was still alive anymore or if this was what hell was like. A knife through her throat, her forehead, an explosion that ripped her apart, her blood flowing everywhere and wounds that appeared from numerous lacerations coming from everywhere. She managed somehow to get back to reality. She still could not move, but not from the killing intent. Sasuke had her in his arms, jumping from tree to tree. Sasuke, on the other hand, though of nothing else but to flee. He had to get away. He was far from stupid. Naruto and he, long ago, managed to put their hands on the bingo book. Old Sarutobi was rather occupied with Naruto, who was asking to learn a mountain-splitting jutsu that would take only 2 or 3 seals to activate. Sasuke swapped the book when Naruto jumped on the desk, faking to search for training scrolls on it. They copied it and memorized it. That's why he could tell this was the snake's Sannin Orochimaru himself. After that pleasant discussion, it became crystal clear the leaf trader was after him, but what for? He would have to guess later. He managed to put Sakura down on a tree branch and slap her across the cheek. Twice. He didn't have the time to see if it worked. He jumped back down the tree. The Sannin was coming right at him. Damn, he didn't have the time to take off his weight. He managed, strangely, to withstand the older ninja attacks. He took some distance and made a few Kage-bushins. They all threw wires at the enemy who could not evade them all. The bushins held him in place, and all sent grand fireballs straight for his head. It found its mark, and the tree to which he was tied was utterly destroyed under the assault. The top part cracked and fell down just over the enemy nin's head. Sasuke became even more worried. How could he, a 12 years old, even as prodigious as he was, land a hit on a Sannin? With his weight on, he froze as he heard a light chuckle. Good, very good. That's what I was expecting of you. Not even a slight hesitation to deal a mortal blow. Sasuke understood. He was going easy on him. Testing him. The guy was so sure Sasuke could not possibly hurt him he deliberately let the genin hit him. His fears were confirmed as the mask the snake ninja was wearing melted down, showing untouched skin. He would have to go all out. He would need Naruto's help. He hoped he would get back soon from that snake's attack. Meanwhile, Sakura finished waking up from Sasuke's slap. She silently cheered for him as he seemed to hold his own and then land a clean hit on the freaking ninja. Then she heard the freak laugh. She was scared shitless. Anyone who was laughing after such a beating was totally insane. And totally out of her league. But that emotion got pushed away by another. How dare he laugh of Sasuke? She quickly prepared herself, and then jumped toward the bragging ninja. She started by throwing 5 kunais charged with her trademark explosive tags. The man disappeared in the trunk of the tree right before it hit him. The detonation finished to totally destroy the lower part of the tree. Under that commotion, she didn't see him aim a hit in her back, his torso leaning out of another nearby tree. She did feel it. For a second time in the last 10 minutes, she felt paralyzed. She saw the edge of her vision darken while she fell to her death. Funny. The ground was higher than she remembered. And comfy. She distinguished, from her closing eyes, the sand that caught her and the enemy ninja hit by a huge wave of sand, away from Sasuke. Then she saw Gaara. And then she saw nothing else. Sasuke was totally overwhelmed. He was about to lose to an enemy just to see him get easily swept away and being replaced by another enemy Nin. Gaara had Sakura wrapped up in his sand. He was looking at him, and seemed to be debating something in his mind. He finally decided to talk. Tell Uzumaki Naruto that now, I have something over him. He will have to come to me and fight me if he wants to see the girl alive. Mend your wounds. It will be your turn right after him. Then he just turned away, supported by a continual wave of sand. Sasuke didn't know what to do, but if it was the legendary Sannin that Gaara just knocked over, he was better to take this chance to get out of there and fast before he got back. He made some hand seals and burrowed in the sand now covering the place. He managed to travel a few dozens meters before being pulled out forcefully from the ground and thrown high in the air. It is no befitting of an Uchiha to crawl underneath the earth like a worm, yelled a pissed Orochimaru. Sasuke hit something, but instead of falling, that thing grabbed him and sat him on a nearby tree branch. Sasuke! Are you alright? Asked Naruto, unhurt. Naruto, take him off before it's too late, mumbled Sasuke, still dizzy. The other, the demon carrier, whispered the snake's Sannin. Naruto used the time Orochimaru observed him and took his weight off. He was shaking everywhere, but he did it nonetheless. They fell to the base of the tree with a nice resounding boom and digged the earth beneath it a little. Then he took off Sasuke's. Maybe he wasn't in shape to fight, but he had to put all the chances on their side. He would, with any chance, be able to flee. He knew how dangerous that man was, to beat up Sasuke in such a short time. even with his weight on. Where is Sakura? Asked Naruto, not bothering to swap the area with a look. Gaara took her a moment ago, saying that he now had something over you. He wants to fight you, Sasuke replied, his eyes getting clarity. He managed to get back standing. Really? Answered Naruto, feeling cold anger seize him. Looking at Sasuke's beaten form, he concentrated on the present matter. That freak would pay for this. Be careful, Naruto, that's the missing shinobi Orochimaru the Snake Sannin. Well, okay, maybe not. But it's not as if he had a choice. Fufufu, are you really preparing yourself to fight me? Even knowing who I am? Interesting. Orochimaru jumped at them, forming seals all the while. Demonic seal no jutsu. Naruto tried to dodge but received the flaming blue fingertip in his stomach. The pain was unbearable. He felt every single fingers consume his flesh and cause something inside him to shift weirdly. Naruto fell down the tree and landed hard on the ground below. Naruto! What have you done to him, you monster? Yelled Sasuke, turning toward Orochimaru, now less than 2 meters away. Kukuku, don't worry about him. He obviously learned to use his demonic chakra, dealing with my pet snake like that. I simply sealed it away. To seal chakra in full use, he'll be passed out for at least a few days. Now, Sasuke-kun, I have a gift for you. The Sannin, now right in front of Sasuke, who was trying to find a way to take his distances, showed fangs of impossible length on a human being. He slowly prepared himself for the bite. Sasuke was paralyzed by the eyes that seemed to bore into his. He tried to look away but was locked in place by the evil will of the pale-skinned abomination in front of him. As the fangs neared his neck, right before they pierced his tender skin, Orochimaru was stopped. Not stopped like a tap on the shoulder do. More like how a chakra-charged fist in your face can. His head was thrown back, blood spilling everywhere. It was his turn to fall to the ground, on his knees. Naruto, panting heavily, looked at the snake ninja who was coughing blood. The man looked at the bloody pool in his hand in disbelief. 2 particularly white, sharp ivory shards were resting in it. His fangs. Naruto was stunned that the man was still conscious but glad that some damage was done. It was his own version of the not-so-gentle fist. He charged chakra all over his hand, and instead of a precise strike, his hit induced chakra in the whole area his hand hit. It's a little more diffuse, but with enough chakra behind it, it should block more than 1 tenkatsu at the time. Oh. The guy seemed quite pissed to have lost those 2 fangs. Maybe it was time to get out of there. Naruto took Sasuke under the arm and took off. He pushed chakra in his leg at every single jump, getting to speed he rarely used, not stopping even after a good 20 minutes of uninterrupted running. Look at what we've got, HEY. Don't ignore me. He jumped over a ninja with a fur-covered coat and a bandaged face. They didn't plan on stopping at every stupid ninja they would cross. Orochimaru didn't seem to be following them, but the hell if they would take any chance. The problem is that stupid ninjas don't like to be ignored. The branch Naruto landed on suddenly snapped after some kind of attack the mummy man sent. Naruto landed a little hard on the floor, managing not to drop Sasuke. It's okay, Aniki, I can stand, whispered Sasuke, getting his bearing back. Not after what I'll do to you, yelled the fur-covered ninja. The Sound Village, huh? Guess we know what destroyed the branch, mused Sasuke out loud. You feel ready for this, Aniki? Naruto asked, worried. I've been beaten up, Sakura's been kidnapped, and even you, in good shape, had to flee from our enemy. How do you think I feel? Growled Sasuke. You want to vent up on those guys? Asked a surprised but amused blonde. Exactly. Take the 2 others, I'll take care of the furball. Okay, Aniki. Make that fast, though. I don't want to linger around here any longer than necessary. Snakeface is probably still around. You met Orochimaru-sama? How come? He sent us to kill the Uchiha brat. What did he tell you? Answer me, babbled the furry Sound Nin. The Uchiha brothers looked at each other's and frowned. Sasuke popped a soldier pill in his mouth. Then they put on their sunglasses. Naruto, in one smooth move, threw a flash bomb in the air. That flash signaled the end of that team. Naruto put wood in the still red ashes. Sasuke tiredly sat down. Naruto opened the light backpack he brought for the exam, containing mainly some wires, explosive notes, flash bombs, and, most importantly, a first aid kit. He carelessly sent the Sound Nin scroll in it before sitting down next to Sasuke and began to tend to his wound. Some were open wounds of a well-placed hit. Or because he was tossed in a tree or through a tree from the look of some. Sasuke must have lost some blood too. He knew that the soldier pill activated the production of blood, which is a reason why you must not abuse them, but even then he would have to sleep a lot to get in top shape. Thankfully, he had no broken limbs. Even if it was a close call from the look of his bruised arm. It might have been weakened. Maybe they should wear bandages likely. It absorbs some of the damages of repetitive shocks and reduces the chance of broken bones. All in all, Sasuke would need rest and a medic Nin as fast as possible. Too bad medical jutsu take extra trained chakra control and monitor teaching. Too bad they could not sit on their ass for the rest of the exam either. So now we know, after interrogating that oh-so-loyal Sound Ninja, that Orochimaru is the head of said village. They planned something big. What we saw is only the tip of the rock that we always trip on the ground. Probably a massive attack. They have allies inside. Who else could it be, other than that low-level team we just trashed? I don't know, Aniki grumbled Sasuke, moody for once. Why not a psychopath, demon-bearing Sans Nin team? I would usually agree, but why would he attack his boss like that? Wondered Naruto. After a fire jutsu, he pulled some kind of skin-like mask off. Maybe Gaara never saw him with that face before? Anyway, Raccoon Boy doesn't look like much of the team player. Yeah. I think by now, we can assume Snakeface gave up the chase. I wonder why. He seemed to be hellbent on getting you. Anyway, it leaves us with the task of retrieving Sakura. I'll do it. You'll be the decoy. Gaara will look at no one else but you, Sasuke said, nodding to himself. You're in good shape enough to take on the two others? Asked a doubtful Naruto. I doubt they are above Chunin level. It should be okay. I don't have to kill them. Only outsmart them. Okay then. We'll wait for the night when most of them should be asleep. Since Gaara looked like the team leader, the two others will probably share guard duty. That was the only flaw of the plan. How could they know? Sakura, despite a light headache, woke up all right. She opened her eyes and saw that she was getting transported by sand. The one thing was, she was trapped like a sushi in it. And getting cramps. It was too tight too. Hello? I'm awake. Could you let me down? She asked loud enough. You're my hostage, deadpan Gaara. And that would stop me from walking how? You could try to escape, he pointed out, as if it was obvious. In a way it was, but I think you made your point quite clear of what would happen to me if I tried that. Anyway, I know you can't kill me. Wanna know how? If you do so, Naruto will do the exact opposite of what you ask of him. You want a fair match? He'll raise his hand, give up and flee. You want advices? He'll stay mute. You want to pass the exam? He'll make you look like a simpleton. So why don't you try now? Hurt me. Look at this arm I have here, who looks so fragile and easy to damage. A little pressure from this sand of yours should be enough to break it. Come on. Rip me apart. You know you want to, right? What are you waiting for? Sakura taunted him. Gaara was, at the very least, thrown off balance. He was in uncharted water. It was the first time somebody asked him to do it. He was finally getting near his temporary camp. He walked faster, in a haste to put her down and far from him. Temari was lounging against a tree sighing. Kankuro was cooking some strange animal that crossed their path earlier. They already had their scroll from some unlucky rain ninja team. Then, Gaara told them to set up camp and went away. That was 4 hours ago. They could be at the tower by now. But no, it could not be that simple. Then she heard noises. A loud taunting voice was getting closer. The sight that unfolded next was the strangest ever. Gaara was walking fast, almost to a jog, with a girl, trapped in his sand, which was throwing verbal jab non-stop. Gaara spotted Temari and ran toward her. He threw the girl at her feet. Before she could ask anything, the pink-haired Kunoichi turned toward the demon carrier and spoke to him, obviously faking a hurt voice. Gaara-chan. Who is this other woman? You told me I was the only one. Do you kidnap every pretty girls you come across? We'll need a couple concealer. Temari! Shouted Gaara, making the sand Kunoichi jump. Take care of her. Keep her alive. Unhurt. And keep her away from me. Then he turned back and went to the fire, his agitated sand almost extinguishing it. Kankuro was smart, he shut his mouth. Sakura stuck her tongue at Gaara in his back, and winked at Temari. Sheesh guys, Sakura mocked, rolling her eyes. What's happening exactly? Asked Temari, wondering if she should tie her up. Nothing extraordinary. I'm his hostage, Sakura said excitedly. Why would he do that? Asked Temari, frowning. I'm Uzumaki Naruto's teammate. He wants to use me to pressure my teammate into fighting him. Oh. Okay. Then how you began, Temari, for once at loss for words. Don't worry. I'm not stupid enough to try and escape from your brother. I just want to mess with his mind a little, grinned Sakura, not noticing the shiver of terror that went up Temari's back when she heard that. Temari! Since we have something that looks like a girl here, why don't you send her here to cook? Yelled Kankuro from his attempt at a meal. Kankuro wanted nothing more than to tie that bimbo up and leave her here, but since they had to keep her around for now, she was as well to be useful. Gaara's sand was still moving fast inside his gourd. Hallis, it was not Temari who answered him. We're talking girl stuff, so beat it. Snapped Sakura. But seeing how much makeup you have on your face, you could join if you want. She turned toward Temari. Did he come out of the closet yet? Temari could not stop herself from laughing. Kankuro turned toward Gaara, absolute shock written all over his face. What he saw turned his blood to ice. For a fleeting moment, Gaara's lips drew a smirk and his shoulders shook a little. His little brother could laugh. Shut up, you pink-haired bimbo, or I'm gonna cut your hair as short as Temari's, shouted back Kankuro, not about to be told off by this leaf. What's wrong with my hair? Asked Temari, frowning. Yeah. What wrong with her hair? Insisted Sakura, having way too much fun. Nothing. I was just, Kankuro answered, trying to defend himself, his hands held up. Some of us don't keep themselves under a full-body blanket because they look like bad hair day all year long. fired Temari, pissed at having her hair mocked so casually. Kankuro didn't dare to turn toward Gaara now. He heard him chuckle. The hell with y'all girls, he simply said, throwing his hands up. He turned toward the meat, trying to order it to cook with his stare. Later, before the sunset, Sakura sat before the fire, having had her share of Kankuro's meat. Temari didn't want to share and Gaara simply looked at him. He didn't have much of a choice, did he? Gaara watched Sakura edging closer, a warning written all across his face. He didn't want to spend the evening hearing her nonsense. Naruto want to fight you too, you know, she whispered quietly, putting her hand in front of the fire. Gaara turned his attention fully toward her now. He told us. Sasuke and I, she kept on. How can he have this life, began Gaara, unsure of why he was asking her. How come people gather around him when he is? You mean with what he have in him, precise Sakura, a finger up, almost scolding him. He has a demon in him. He is not the demon. It's a popular misconception, but not in Konoha. We're smarter than that. This condition does not define him, and that's how we see him. Just ask when you'll fight him. Gaara looked pensive a while but ended up turning toward her, frowning. Don't try to escape. Of course not. What kind of hostage would that make me? The kunoichi answered flippantly. Naruto was crawling with a maximum of stealth. He didn't want to be detected until the last moment. With any luck, the sentinel would be asleep. When he got in sight of the campfire of the Sans team, that hope was gone in smoke. Gaara was waiting, arm crossed, his back to the fire. Naruto got up and walked in the circle of light. He saw Sakura, rolled on herself near the fire, sleeping. The strange thing was that she laid there unbound, and didn't look stressed or hurt. This was good, but unexpected. Gaara's teammates were asleep too, against trees. The demon carrier from Sans seemed a lot calmer than the last time. I have some questions for you as some of my belief have been shaken. But I also want to fight you. I'm not going to listen to someone's philosophy if it get me weaker. Naruto just stood there. Now that was a surprise. How did it get to that? So you're telling me you have questions for me, but you'll allow me to enlighten you only if I manage to beat you up. That's an unusual request, he said, one eyebrow raised. Sakura stirred and yawned. Probably that hearing Naruto's voice woke her up. She saw him facing Gaara and none of them had their weapons out yet. She got up and started walking toward her blonde teammate. Stop. You're my hostage. Remember? Ordered Gaara, half turned toward her. Yeah? The sleepover was fun, Gaara-kun, but I've got to go now. I've still got a Chunin exam to pass. Let's do this again sometime. Naruto? Could you fight him and beat him up yet so we can go back to sleep? We have a scroll to get tomorrow and I'm tired of seeing trees. While she talked, she managed to calmly walk over to Naruto and stand behind him. What stopped Gaara from reacting before was a simple single word. Gaara-kun? Since when was he a kun to anyone? Alright Gaara, answered Naruto, nodding. I'll fight you fair and square, but not here and now. The exam is not done yet. I'll be ready for you. Better get your mind to find those questions since I'll kick your ass. See ya. Sasuke dropped right at the side of Sakura. Her eyes lit up. He was okay. She feared so much of what had happened to him. She gave him a quick hug, knowing he would not like too much attention. Team 7 turned around and started walking away. What now? Asked Temari, getting to Gaara's side while yawning. The tower. We've got the scroll, he simply answered. Great, I can't wait for a shower. You'll have to tell me how you came to be an unhurt hostage of that psychopath, asked Naruto to Sakura, chuckling and shaking his head. He's not that bad. He only had to meet someone crazier than him, she waved off. Once in the tower, after reading the huge sign in the entrance, they opened both scroll and Irika appeared. I've got to find out how to do this, Naruto said, jumping all excited. Can it be done unknowingly by the summon? To be able to summon the old man. Ha! Don't count on that, snorted Irika, amused. It only work on a local area. I was waiting in this tower to be summoned from the start. If you would have opened this outside of here, I would have greeted you in another way. I can guess how, said Sasuke, rolling his eyes. So, who made it this far? Your cousin's team made it here a few hours ago. The Sans Nin team got here a few minutes before you. No one else? Asked Sakura, surprised. Hey! It's only the second day, chuckled Irika. I guess you're right, shrugged Naruto. By the way, could it happen to have Sasuke checked out by a medic Nin? We ran into the missing Nin Orochimaru in the forest, and we didn't escape unhurt. What? Shouted Irika, feeling his heart jump madly in his chest. After telling him everything that had happened, Irika hushed them in a separated room to rest and called more Anbu to guard the tower. He sent one to tell the bad news to the Hokage and to fetch Enko. When she got to him, she was in a definitely bad mood. She told him about the bodies found of a mist team that had their faces peeled off. That, and her meeting with her former master. Irika was shocked, to say the least, when the Hokage ordered to let the Chunin exam to continue as planned. He had to avoid for Konoha to look weak in front of the other villages or things would prove disastrous. That and the fact that whatever the missing Sannin planned, it would be worse if they acted as if they learned of his plans, which, in fact, they didn't. So, having nothing else to do, Iruka went to tell his former students of the recent developments. Opening the door to their room, he found them all asleep on the beds or, in Naruto's case, on a lounge chair. Iruka smiled fondly. They really looked like children like that. He quietly got out and went to find Kakashi-san. Their Jonin teacher would have to be extra careful in the future. A medic Nin came and healed Sasuke the best he could. Meaning he could have fought right there, and then after he was done with him. Konoha's medic Nin were few but very competent. On the other hand, he could do nothing for Naruto, who described the attack done by the snake ninja. Naruto molded chakra and a seal appeared on his stomach. It was of an unknown design to the medic specialist. Even the name of the technique didn't ring a bell. The only comforting news was that a seal specialist could be found around Konoha in the next days. The Toad Sage himself. Naruto was happy to have an excuse to approach such a legend. Maybe he could trap him into training him for a while. The effect of the soldier pill wore off on Sasuke and he rested himself well, since training on soldier pills was a waste of time. The muscles were already strained from the extra energy. Anyway, the week prior had been hell, so they felt they deserved some peace. Team 7 did nothing to approach the Sand Nin during their stay in the tower. They both had things to brew in their heads. Little by little, people came in, summoning Iruka to the hall, sometime in the middle of a conversation. It was quite funny to see your old teacher dispel in smoke as if he was a summon, which he was, in a way. The 9 Genins fresh out of the Leaf Academy made it out. It was quite a surprise for everyone. A rain team got there too, all wearing underwater breathing masks. Kabuto's team got in, having found some sucker team to steal their scroll. The next day would be the final test. The survivors from the Forest of Death went in a huge room in the center of the tower, an indoor arena. They were more than 100 when they began. Now they were 21. The numbers spoke for themselves. Even if the exam seemed easy for some, they were, in a general point of view, a minimal to be considered at becoming Chunin and to be trusted with other ninjas' lives. The exam, even now, was far from over. The Hokage was standing in front of his seat on the balcony, watching over them. Congratulations to every single one of you. That you made it this far proved the extension of your training and the effectiveness of your abilities. There is but one last test to pass. The remaining candidates will participate, in a month from now, to a tournament. A win or a loss at this point doesn't matter, the fight will be evaluated in itself. Still, you are too many to enter that final stage of the exam. That is why the first round, or preliminaries, will be held right here, right now. I know it does not seem fair for those who got here late and didn't have the time to rest from the forest ordeal, but this is the kind of thing to consider it. You won't always have the time to rest between 2 fights in a mission. For those who feel unable to continue, you can give up now. Just raise your hand and you will be escorted to the nearest medical facilities. I give up. None seemed too surprised of Kabuto standing down. His teammates seemed to be eager to fight though. They didn't seem to care about their teammate defection either. Naruto and Sasuke looked at each others. Something was fishy. No one else? Well then, let's start immediately. The fights will last until one of the participants surrender, or is unable to continue his fight. No need for merciless killing. The electronic billboard will show the pairing for the matches randomly. Good luck to you all. The Hokage seated himself and the billboard started to flash names at a rapid pace. It stopped on 2 names. Hey, the referee, called forth the chosen fighters. They both took the stairs and walked down in the arena. They stood in their respective battle stances in front of one another. Hajime, Hajime. The 2 fighters seemed in no hurry to get it on. One was looking down at the other while the other hasn't pulled his hands out of his pockets yet. The elder one took a fighting stance, smirking. I'm honored to fight you, Uchiha Sasuke. At last, I have the opportunity to put one of the Uchiha brothers down myself. Face it, you're still just a child. It takes many years as a Genin to even hope to become a Chunin, and that's for those who have the potential to get there. With no one to teach you the ways of your clan, you lost any and every advantages you could have over another child. You should have waited before getting in the big boys league, if you say so. Are you coming or what? Sasuke replied, bored already. Yoro lost his smile. How he hated that kid! He would show his master Orochimaru he would be a better choice for whatever he had planned for this kid. He would paint the walls with his blood. His face expressed his rage as he charged him, full speed. Sasuke wasn't even bothered. The full velocity of the man had him move a little, but nowhere nearly enough to stress him, even with his new weights on. This would make Lee proud, oh yeah. Still, every time the fist of his enraged adversary came close, he felt a little weird. He was intrigued. His curiosity spiked, he decided to find out. He grabbed an incoming punch with his right hand. Now he clearly felt his chakra leave his body. The palms of Yoroi were absorbing it. While he was examining this, Yoroi tried to escape the vice-like grip on his arm. It would not budge. He hoped he would drain enough energy from the brat before he broke his arm. Nice. That must take Chunin-level medic Nin control to absorb chakra with a simple touch in combat. Thankfully, I was fully charged and at the rate you're going, I'm in no danger. It does tire me, which, in turn, annoy me. Sasuke pulled on Yoro's arm and sent his knee in his enemy's stomach. He faintly heard an arm snap. Such a fragile little thing. Then Sasuke took him by his collar and sent him 10 feet in the air. By the time Yoroi stopped climbing, Sasuke had the seals for his favorite jutsu ready, Katon, Grand Fireball. The massive, continuous fire breath caught his adversary as he was falling back down. He rode it up until he crashed hard in the ceiling. As the fire died, the embedded body didn't fall down. Even from there, everyone could see the white pupils. The guy was, at least, unconscious. Hate walked under the guy, looked up and said, "Winner, Uchiha Sasuke. Could someone bring me a ladder?" Then the body fell down. "Never mind," called Hate, expressionless. Naruto frowned as Sasuke climbed back on the balcony. What was that all about? He didn't feel like a Konoha ninja. Sasuke tried to explain. "That implies a lot," his brother mumbled, frowning. "Yeah, we'll have to see the old man about this." "My guess is, he already knows," sighed Sasuke. "I see. Is it the best solution, to ignore the threat? He knows we're strong. The panel could be rigged, but somehow, that's unlike him. He wants to call off his bluff," guessed Sasuke. "What if Snakeface is not bluffing?" countered Naruto. "Then we better prepare for when he'll play his strongest cards," sighed Sasuke. Meanwhile, the panel was rolling names again. Next fight, Aburame Shino vs Otamaro Ken. Shino, emotionless as ever, climbed down the stairs. The other ninja, his water respirator hiding his face, followed suit. They took places, one in front of the other, 4 meters separating them. In a ninja fight, 4 meters is only a step away from close-range combat. None of them said a word. In fact, none of them made a sound. Wow, a creepy master's battle. Sakura's sweat dropped but could not disagree with Naruto. "Ready? Hajime," announced Hate, dropping an arm down. Doton, muddy swamp of putrefaction. The ground answered the call of the rain's ninja, and seemed to swell murky water at an alarming rate. The whole arena was covered, and Hate chose to monitor the fight from afar, his feet glued to the walls. Shino, unfazed, didn't move a muscle, even when the green gooey fluid reached him a little over the knees. The masked Nin began to circle him, without even a hint of unease at moving around. "We were raised in a swamp, me and my brothers," began the rain Nin. "My brothers and I," interrupted Shino. "What? If you bother to talk, then talk well." The freakometer just went up 2 notches. "Yes. You're right. My apology. The point is, you'll never keep up with my speed in this. They called us dirty when we were kids. We ended up learning to fight dirty." Jumping forward, he punched Shino, or tried to. The fist didn't connect as Shino bent down, but the enemy move sent a lot of mud in his sunglasses. The next blow hit him. He fell on his hands and knees only to be kicked hard in the chest. Shino gasped and reeled back from the impact. He didn't go far. The muddy ground absorbed his fall. He got up on one knee, covered with slime, one hand in the mud to help support himself, the other on his sore chest. The match barely began and he was panting.